These are the dragons, some of the most powerful business magnates and investors in all of Runeterra. I grew up on my father's hex crystal mine, so don't come in here and tell me how to run a business. They've agreed to part with some of their well-earned hoard of gold, but only for the right business proposal. You're a charlatan, you're a moron, I'm out. Do our entrepreneurs have what it takes, or will they walk away empty-handed? I'm out, I'm out, I'm out. And for that reason, unfortunately, I'm out. I would really like this money and the help from the dragons for my business, Summoner Shop, the one-stop shop for all of your item needs. I am heavily in debt to Gangplank at the moment, and he said that if I don't bring him his money, he is going to chop off one of my legs so that I'll look like a pirate. And I don't want that to happen. Hello, dragons. My name is Gregory, and I'm the founder of Summoner Shop, your one-stop shop for all of your itemization need. Sorry, It's far from the most confident start to a pitch, and the dragons aren't looking pleased. Summoner Shop, your one-stop shop for all of your item needs. The dragons are already having doubts as to whether they can see themselves working with Gregory. This guy, he wouldn't even know his rift herald from his void grubs.
Last time he made any money was refunding a Doran's blade.
Hopefully for Gregory, he can get his pitch back on track. If you were getting something small, like a dagger, that would be 200 gold instead of 250 gold. And if you were buying a BF sword, that would be 1,000 gold instead of 1,300.
Unfortunately, you just don't seem to have the confidence and the killer instinct needed to succeed in business. Therefore, regrettably, I'm out.
You come in here sputtering, can barely get your words out. That's not the sort of person I want to work with. I'm out. After losing two of the dragons in quick succession, it's vital that Gregory doesn't do anything to make himself look more stupid. Thank you, dragon. Gregory has committed another faux pas, causing two more dragons to withdraw from negotiations. But two dragons remain interested. Look, Gregory, all I care about is the economics. Are you making any money? So, at the moment, we are in the customer base building phase. So, we are willing to spend money to make money. A shocking admission from Gregory that Summoner Shop doesn't actually make any money. Look, I get that, but I don't think you're making any money, so I'm out. And with only one dragon remaining, Ocean steps up to deliver a killer blow. So how bad is it then? So at the moment, we are down 200,000 gold. I've heard enough. I'm out. Thank you, Jack. No. I think that it could have gone better, but I still believe in the mission of Summoner Shop, your one-stop shop for all of your item needs. I think the fact that we hadn't made any money yet potentially turned off the investors, the dragons, sorry. I will keep businessing, and one day I will have so much gold that I can buy all of the dragons.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Northern League of Legends Championship. We're now on the playoff stage, but also on the lower bracket, which means today we'll only have one series, a best of 5. Whoever wins moves on. Whoever loses, well, you can keep spectating the game, but your run for Stockholm, Sweden is no longer in effect. I'm just hearing a lot of things, I don't know why, but hey, my name is I will be your host, but I'm not alone. I'm bringing the desk, the good old desk, Jamad and Trouble!
I love how the police was ready to come and arrest whoever loses this best of 5.
I was not the only one hearing that, was I? Okay. Sound effects on the NLC, there you go. How are we feeling? LLS versus Chaos.
Good. Really good. Honestly, I mean, it does kind of suck about the fact that we are in lower bracket for both these two teams, because I think a little bit more for Chaos, they've been surprisingly fun to watch. With Lightside, they've had their own array of issues, but I think matching up against each other, you couldn't ask for more, especially when you take in all of the grander effects that this could have for things like relegation.
Apart from the relegation, I just want to remind everyone, I just want to take you back to spring. Yeah, right, spring. One split ago. That was our first best of 5 in the lower bracket. LLS versus Chaos. 5-game banger. I think this best of 5 lasted, what, 6 hours or something? It was crazy. It was back and forth, and it got decided in the last game.
So get ready back at home. You might see at least 5 games today, or maybe, who knows, maybe a sweep. So far we've been getting sweeps no stop. Talking about that, let's look into what we had so far and the future. LR took out Chaos 2 games, even though the first one was a cutest case. Nord lost no time. They were just waiting for that sweep 2-0. Rich Gang versus the MG, showing that power and Verdant taking down Venom Crest yesterday. Sadly, we didn't get the green Aragon, but we got someone going bald on air. That means that next week we have Los Ratones versus Nord, the expected fight yet again, and Rich Gang versus Verdant. Okay, for both of you, August 7, how are we feeling?
Oh, okay. I don't know if we can put the bracket thing back up, if that's possible at all.
Ooh,
Thank you so much,
smart.
producers. But what I wanted to mention right here, August 7th, perfect. LR versus Nord rematch, upper bracket, we know that. However, I would just really like moving into our summer split and EMEA Masters, LR, Nord, Rich Gang, Verdant, all 2-0ing shows how strong of a top 4 that we have right now in the NLC, and this is why it's getting really, really exciting.
I agree 100%. Also, we've changed something. We are this close to be able to communicate with you, chat. The delay is just pummeled down, so there's a way of us communicating with you eventually. As soon as we get later on the show, we could ask your opinion on the game show, but it's not yet. Calm down. We still have to see predictions for today. I want to know where you both land on. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
okay. So I think a lot of people are not aware, but there's going to be some hiccups on the LLS roster. And unfortunately for me, I don't think they have given me enough of a spark to believe that they can take a game off of Chaos in this one. So, yeah, that's why it's a 3-0 for me.
I think it's a
Jamada.
fair assessment. I also just feel like Chaos have been very, sloppy, even in situations where they have been able to get leads, and I don't think that's going to stop even against an opponent who's been struggling in Lightside. I don't know what Aragon's been, what can I say on air? What activities he's been partaking in after hours of the show. But 3 on Lightside I think is quite bold. We will see, of course, how Lightside come into this with, again, additional changes. We'll touch on those as we get closer to the game. But I just feel as though Chaos are just not immune to fumbling games, right? They have just demonstrated
for
it
sure.
to us time and time again. So
Yep.
I feel like whilst 5 games might be a stretch, based on what was delivered to us, just on an organization to organization level back in winter, I kind of want it to be 5 games just for the drama, just for the cinema.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. For Aragon, I understand where he lands. He has been bringing a segment of the ELO, how important ELO is, so he wasn't able to find Chaos ELO, so he thinks Lightside has a better ELO than Chaos, and that's why they should win. But I think the segment has been going
Results-based
like his...
analysis.
yeah, I think it's like his solo queue experience on the jungle, so yeah, it's downhill. With that in mind, is uphill if you go with us to Sweden. Stockholm, Leagues Disrupt, it's your time to shine and join us on a big event. We're now going to look at these faces. They actually might land in Sweden. We have the top 4 teams fighting for only 2 spots. So far, it has always been LR versus Nord on finals. I don't know if it's going to be the same this split, but everybody's counting on the Ratones to go there. But I want you to be there, which means we have a song for you. I don't know how many times we have to play this. I should be arrested for making that content. Trouble, you know what? Send it to the content. Send it to the content. You have the power.
Chat, shut up and watch.
In the north, where the ping is low and the egos are high, there is only one rule, baby. Shut up this room. Shut up this room. Shut up this room. Shut up this room. Ooh. Ha ha ha. We back at the dream in a dodgy old strap. Got chaos in my trunk and a rat in my hat. The GPS in danger, but I proxy like a chef. It's bossy time, baby. That's a good death. Got chased by bulldogs, no bark, no bite. Told to touch some rest, but then some word inside. Could have gone bot, but I followed my feeling. Guess what, baby? We're in Sweden. More than just some players, it's the retired legion. Say just a game, but it's more than a feeling. We're breaking the silence, volume increase. Shut up, shut up, shut up. It's time for Leagues Disrupt. We fight through the pain, cause we call that healing. From Solo Q to the northern region. They fight for the glory, the thrill, so just shut up, shut up, shut up. It's time for Leagues Disrupt. Ooh. Wait, you're not convinced yet? Okay, let me tell you why you need that ticket. Double time. Reddy's got a plan, but it's looking kinda sus. I'm toxic like cities, like ping as I run. We're from the north with the dodge fights. You might say our draft is weird. Hey, we won EMEA twice. Lost out on this quick sneak on the run on the heights. We got Crown cooking with a snipe, so precise. Belly be lurking in jungle, so sick in my thick as a water game when he shows that puppy pick. Back in the north, so storm in July. Young cuz gets first blood, blink once and you die. Bring legends back, shares like a Marvel arc. Reason such as split pushing and we call that art. I'm spitting like ass, got skill in my shots, critting harder than Jinx when she pops. So it says the IDLs are on a decline. Esports news only get views with us as a headline. More than just some players, it's the retired legion. Say just a game.
Wow, Rocker Room, fantastic.
My favorite part of this was yesterday on chat. Someone was like, "Who's this? Who's this singer? Who's this guy?" And people were like, "It's the host. It's the host." I'm like, "Oh, I thought it was a real musician." I'm like, "Ha!
The host?
I have feelings."
A real
It's Rocker Room. It's my brother, you know. Right, your mother?
I know that one got you.
It got me. It got me. I'm never making part of this again. Well, then it went well. Shut up, Disrupt. Join us in Sweden. It's your time to shine. But now it's time for Jemada and Triple Link to shine. Chat!
Dun, dun, dun,
You can
dun.
play with us. I'm actually bringing the Twitch. So if you get it right, by the way, Twitch, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. You can win. This is UMI Item Edition. Oh boy, what does that mean? I'll give you a clue of the item if the item was a real person. So they're introducing themselves to you. And you have to find out the item. Yes! Yes! Let's go for the first one.
I play one champion with one build.
You need a chapter that has been lost to build me. Jemada.
Yumi?
No, it's items. Jemada, are you here?
Items.
Item edition. On the lower.
Oh, okay.
Items! Treble!
I get it.
Ludens.
Do you want to lock in Luden's Companion? Is that a yes? It is Luden's Companion!
Hey! On the first one? Stop
She's
it.
smurfing.
Stop. I've been
By
so
the
mad at
way-
once. End it. Whistle.
Yeah,
Whistle.
yeah.
End it.
Lock it off.
Artemissive just went on chat and said the lost chapter, and that was it. That was the lost chapter. He knows. That was a component. Moving to the second one. So a point for the chat as well. Let's go. Second component. Trust me. And I'll give you eternity. Triple Link.
Guardian Angel.
Guardian Angel. It's a good guess. It is not correct.
You.
I'm just a staff that gives you... Oh, what? This is the third one.
Even the producer got baited by Archer's bait.
I'm just a staff that gives you HP, mana, and even a level. We go to the third one.
Yep, it's not Roa, Kappa.
Oh, Barbinia accepted on the chat. Well, you guys made it correct. There you go. It is Road of Ages. It is Road of Ages. Production got you baited. I'm sorry, Treble. I had to. Okay. Now we fix everything. We go to the third one.
All right.
Okay. Now it gets harder now. Okay, 1 point for chat, 1 for troubling. Minions love my existence. You okay, Trouble?
ZZ World.
No. It has to
Fire
be
command.
existing.
Yeah, Hullbreaker.
You think it's Hullbreaker?
I'm gonna go with Hullbreaker.
We're gonna lock it in. Jamad, I'm sorry. I don't want to bait the producer. So, hey, this is correct. It is correct. It's Hullbreaker.
Nice.
There you go. 1 point for Jamada, 1 for Trouble Link,
I
and
think I
1 for
revealed my
chat.
age with the Zizrod and Banner of Command thing. Oh well.
Potentially.
Fourth one. Okay, let's go. This is harder. Lethality.
Oh.
Unless...
This is opportunity, and the reason this is funny is because of the Jarvan from yesterday. If it's not
Wait,
opportunity, I
wait.
don't know what else. I don't know what else.
Wait.
I don't know what else it would
Can
be.
we show
looking
the
at it.
third clue? Because Jamada locks in opportunity. Show me the third clue.
Oh, because you guys were tweaking on that poor guy, and he was just doing the Aguarin build. Or the I can never pronounce his name right.
Agurin.
His name's Agurin. My
Weeksy
accent
also got it
doesn't
right
get
on the
his name right.
chat. A point for him, 2 points for Jamada, 1 point for Trouble. Production got a point because they robbed us. So let's move to the next one. Slowly. Sustain is king. Troubling.
Bloodthirster?
I really like this song. Wait, what?
Bloodthirster?
Bloodthirster, she said.
Can you guys miss one, please? That is a miss. Triple Link, it's not correct.
Okay, well then, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
If Sustain is king, I will go with Blade of the Ruined King.
My man! That's a good guess, but not even close. Let's go for the second clue. If you are worthy of my armor, I will sustain you. I know it's harder. The last one has to be harder.
Unending Despair?
Let me just look at chat. Oh, someone got it correct.
Oh, wait! Okay,
Don't open your mouth because you looked at chat.
No, I gave the
Scarlet,
wrong
good
answer.
job.
I didn't.
No.
No,
Okay.
I know what it is.
Trouble.
Well, the only thing that's like worthy of armor and that scales with it is Heartsteel, I believe.
Nah. Last clue for the castles because the chat push.
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
As soon as I locked in the second one, I knew I was. Yeah. I've been staring
You got
at this
me.
item
If you're
too
worthy
long
of my
as well.
armor, I was like, that means scaling armor. It was like,
Because you need 2,000 health, so you need to be big
yeah,
enough.
I know,
and
but
worthy
it's
enough.
if you're
Yeah.
worthy of my armor, so
I
I can
know.
armor the stats.
I know.
Why
I
am I
had to
holding
debate
tweezers?
you. Wait, what? I'm afraid. Am I
I don't know,
mention
man.
within my chat one as my reward? Can Aragon do Ari cosplay? Let me hear from production. Correct. We're gonna get Aragon's Ari cosplay. Thank you, Aragon, for accepting that ordeal.
So I won, right?
No, it was chat.
Chat one.
Chat one.
Chat one.
It's done.
Yeah, because last time Duckling completely destroyed you on the game show, and you're still recovering from that one, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, just saying. Thank you so much, chat. You guys are amazing. As we move on with the pre-show, we have LLS versus Chaos. And now you lose, you're out. Chaos versus LLS! There's a lot to talk about them. Obviously, their path until now hasn't been the greatest, so that's why they're facing elimination already on day 3 of playoffs. I want to highlight this as we move forward. LLS has to win this. They need this win, because if they lose, they're going to relegations, and that is a battle you don't want to face. It's a scary one. So, when we look into them, where should we start? Any ideas?
I mean, it's a whole new roster again, right? I think this is the one thing that's got me and Jamada kind of huffing and puffing when we talk about them, because I believe that there were pretty good pieces to that, like Nicolex with so much experience. Biscard has been here before. He's had some pretty high highs. Golden Penny has showed up time to time again, but now we've got 2 new additions again to the roster. Now we have Don Pong on the bot lane and Samson over on the top side of the map. So I feel like more than anything is that you don't know what to expect in terms of gameplay and how much they've probably practiced together, right?
Yeah, the practice time is a very big thing, and like you were saying, I think even like down to the original lineup of this roster, to me it just felt like, okay, they should just draw front to back comps, play very simple League of Legends, and, you know, try to just upset the apple cart. And it feels like they've been trying to get too creative from game to game. I think Nicolex coming in, as with the amount of experience he has definitely kind of stabilized some of how their games have looked, but frankly, far from enough, right? And I think coming into a Chaos game or a Chaos roster who has continually made games, much to their namesake, very chaotic, I don't know how they really are going to end up doing it. The only 2 consistent pieces for me have been Bisgard and Golden Penny, where if Golden Penny gets a little bit of space to open up, he's done fine all year, and I think that's not really stopped this split. And I feel like Bisgard hasn't really been given the opportunity yet to spread his wings.
So let's talk about Bisgard. We're talking about him and how we can open those wings. In terms of at least champions that he has available, he can play from afar, he can play a little bit more shotgun, he can play a little bit more control as well, facing versus Chaos. Is this the key? You were talking about the bot lane and also Trouble. You highlighted that today we have different players stepping in as well. I think Lightside are bringing their own chaos into the Rift as well with this idea, so we don't have a lot of what to expect unless, hey, Bisgard, you're the comfort. You need us. We need you.
I mean, I feel like all of these champions that we're just seeing, the Azir, the Hui, the Talia, the Syndra, are pretty much control mages, right? They're there to just shove in the waves. A lot of them are protectors. A lot of them are followers as well, like when you pair it up with things like Vice, Pantheons. We've seen Nicolex play the Pantheon before. So I feel like they're just pretty simple shove and wave, and then do damage later on, or like some of them scale even early into the game. So I feel like it's kind of like I always forget the phrase. Keep it stupid simple, I think is the phrase, if I'm not wrong. And
Keep
I
it
feel like
simple,
you can
stupid.
never... That one. You can never go wrong with control mages.
I agree, Jamada. We were talking about the draft as well and the way they've been inventing. I think you touched this topic. So can you dive a little deeper and explain this while we're looking into the graph?
Totally. I mean, I just think that in week 1, the second day in particular, I just feel like we were doing a little bit too much. I understand that this is when Mac was in. Mac is a Sejuani player. Funnily enough, the top lane they have in today is also a Sejuani top lane, according to Aragon too. But I feel as though you have a lineup where everyone has a relatively defined set of strengths, and throughout a lot of week 1, they weren't really playing towards those strengths. In week 2, though, in my opinion, the drafts were a lot more in line with what my expectations of this lineup were on paper, even with the substitutions coming in, funnily enough. So I feel like we need to just continually see this trend of slower games in general out of Chaos, and or rather out of Lightside, and at the very least give themselves opportunities to make it to 25 minutes, 30 minutes into games where, you know, at that point gold leads start not really mattering that much, and it's all about execution. And I know asking a team that's in lower bracket already to have strong execution is a very big ask, but I think removing as many barriers to entry to that execution are what will provide a lot of success here for Lightside today.
Yeah, and I wanted to really highlight on these drafts as well, pretty much like the bot lane priority that they did have through the drafts. One had Varus, the other one had Corki, and I feel like if we're gonna play through somebody, I think that somebody has to be Nicolex, right? Once on Maokai, where he can set up gank early, set up for later on team fights, and I feel like there's like a very clear identity of a front to back, even like on the top kind of side of drafts, like they were losing it somewhere, with the Viego and the Akali, a little bit not as simple in execution as the other ones. But like if you look at the bottom, it's just very simple. It's front to back. You've got your mage in the mid lane. You've got 2 tanks on each side, whether it's the Maokai Cassante or whether it's the Nautilus Cassante as well. So I feel like, again, we're going back to the old, keep it just simple. Front to back, make sure you have priority in lane so you don't fall behind in gold, and then look to set up through Nicolex, setting up fights and looking for skirmishes.
So you talk about him, the jungler as well, and he has achieved some results during his competitive history as well. It is something. We were talking about this previously, and you were the one highlighting his trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Nicolex is not an unknown factor, specifically in the Greek league. He's been there for many, many years, close to like a 10-year period, if I'm not wrong as well. And he's been very, very close. It's like I'm going to use a Greek phrase since he's Greek. You get very close to the well, but you don't get to drink the water. And this is his second and his third placements right there. 9 out of those 10 times that he's been in the top 3 are second and third place finishers, right? And the one time where he did win the GLL. Yeah, you see how he's got experience and he has been able to lead teams to that top 3 podium position.
I like that take on what is effectively always the bridesmaid, never the bride. But it is a little bit true. But at the very least, hey, like those results better than what Lightside have been getting this year, right? So if they can again make their way towards that, then there can be a little bit of hope if it comes through Nicolex, right? Because it seems very clear that he is very capable of leading teams into deep runs. Lightside, however, have a very, very steep run to make up a mountain if they are gonna, do things like avoid relegation, right? That is the first step. Like, what's in front of you right now today?
In order for that, they need to fight off versus Chaos. Chaos so far, they've been getting, as you said, Jamada, really interesting games. And we're looking to this composition as well. We thought there would be a sub, but they're playing with their main roster as well, which is surprising. Previous split was really confusing, and this time they're keeping it together. And I think all of these players can bring something interesting as well. When they play versus LR specifically, the early game, there was something. People started believing in the miracle of maybe Chaos can take a game out of LR.
I think it's possible. I think it's very, very possible, right? Particularly those first like 6-7 minutes of game time against LR in particular were very, very impressive, where they were finding 2v2s in the bottom lane. And this is what we was talking about when it came to Raya's champion pool and his willingness to pick slightly more out there picks, right? Tristana, not necessarily the most unknown quantity as an AD carry, but as a historical counter to Kai'Sa, pulling out here, killing Crown in 2v2, fantastic. Value on the Poppy, I mean, look, if you don't solo kill Baus at least once in lane, I think that's a you problem, but still, initially gaining that lead is still important, right? And it's about maintaining that after the fact, and that's really what we need to see out of Chaos today to give us hope for them moving forward outside of the series. I need to see, just overall a little bit of composure once they are in this position, because this was a 1k gold lead at 10 minutes. They had the opportunity to really stick together and play out a team fight in a collected manner, and they just couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I feel like more than the team fight, it was more like they love to fist fight, right? It's like your classic solo queue moment where you see jumping, you engage jumping, and I feel like the whole hands diff moment has never been under question. I feel like Valiant Speak, Shakal, Riot, they're actually really good on the champions that they like to play and their confident picks. However, I feel like the most important part for me is that they were dropping so many neutral objectives. The setups were not there, they weren't playing for Void Grabs, they weren't playing for Dragons, like literally no neutral objectives, no towers were touched. It was pure fist fight, and I feel like when players have a lot of experience in the game as well, such as Raya, who has been around for a very long time, you need to actually be able to rail back your team, milk that opportunity to say, listen, we're 2,000 to 3,000 gold up, I've got 7 kills on this Tristana, let's play like this, let's choke them out through vision and through neutral objectives.
Yeah, they were always going for fight, no objectives, and they're so important right now. You brought it up. Raya could be the one to tip the turns of on this table, and his AD carry. I mean, you got the Jhin, you got the Tristana, and then you have the Vayne. The DMG, the damage percentage is not there, but he's always on those kills, at least on the team.
I think what I like about Raya is just the fact that he's willing to not just stay on the ADC tier list, right? The overall, okay, it's game 1, we're probably going to pick Jhin or Varus if it's up. Then after that, it's like, oh, maybe we'll do a hyper carry, or maybe it's like MF. If he sees an angle and his pick has been left late in a draft, which at times we're seeing kind of frequently these days, where, you know, the whole top side will get picked 1 through 3 in the draft phase, and then AD picks get dropped to 4 or 5. If he sees an angle for, yeah, a Vayne or a Tristana, and I imagine probably a couple of other picks in his back pocket too, he's been willing to do them. So I'm excited to see whether or not we get some more of those more, you know, flashier picks like the Vayne today, because Raya is the kind of player that I do actually trust to pilot them mechanically. It's about whether or not the rest of the team around him actually comes through in setting him up for continued success once they do potentially get a lead early on.
Yeah, team trust. We have to pick Vayne here.
Yeah.
So they are ready. I don't know if you want to talk about the top lane as well, the Teemo masterclass for Vayu, or if you want to save it, because there you go. This is what he plays, and
hey, man, I
that's
just want to say, that Teemo, he got to play it once. He had a 1.6k DPM in that game. It was absolutely mental. But more than this, I love his Poppy. And I feel like, I know Jamada will disagree with this, but for me, it's always a Poppy angle. Just for the pure fact that in this best of 5, I think you just need to hands diff your opponent. So I feel like pick your comfort and just absolutely dismantle your opponent.
there we go.
Oh,
Straight into Champion Select. No Teemo though. No Teemo on game 1 at
Teemo,
least.
no Gangplank. But those are the picks I really wanted to focus on when it came to Vayu, because I feel like, especially in the Nord game, that was the game where they really got dismantled. And I think, I'm not putting this on Vayu, but it was like an early Gangplank pick, and then that was actually the game where the Vayne also showed up. So they picked a bunch of hyperscaling, no agency. That's what I mean when I say, let's not hop on, you know, these picks very, very quickly. Stuff like Poppy, I think, can always be blinded and be quite safe. We'll see exactly what goes on here once we are in 2 pick spans. It seems like we might have a small graphical issue for the time being.
Yeah,
but,
don't worry. As soon as we can, we'll bring in the champions.
Yeah.
Okay, just like getting some information. There you go. There has been some situation with the graphic. Don't worry, the teams are picking champions. It's not all Nocturne. We're just waiting for it to be fixed. It should be fixed in a few seconds. So after a specific ban, everything will show up. Don't worry, it's fixed. Chat!
Well, I think they should now ban Syndra, Talia. I have no clue what's been picked.
If they were not picked, yeah, if they were not picked. I mean, with the Talia open, it should have been one of the picks, and probably the Syndra should have been picked as well.
Yeah. I am in lobby. I don't know what I can and can't say, and I don't want to get in trouble via Tiv. I can't remember what the order was. I can't remember what the pick order was. So I have the draft.
Okay, so you can't spoil then. Okay.
Yes, exactly. But I will say our expectations have been mostly met. So we'll wait and see. We're kind of getting fed information here. The draft graphic will get fixed soon. Yep. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Get in there. All right.
Maybe the Jhin. Yeah.
Until we see what's fixed and what's not, I'd like to see again power picks like the Poppy. For Biscard, something more like a control mates, like we talked about. Jamada brought it up a couple of times as well. We're looking for the Talias. We're looking for the Azir. Azir has been bought out. The Syndra, rather. There we go.
So,
no Talia. Okay.
Biscard's on Syndra. Very, very good. I think this is super important. He's on a very comfortable champion. And it's been paired up with the Jarvan, which I kind of don't like. I've been seeing this rise in priority over the last couple of weeks of play where people are treating Jarvan as if he's either Wukong, Xin Zhao, Vi, any of these early skirmishing champions. Jarvan sucks if he doesn't get to just dunk on 2 immobile champions in the backline, in my opinion. And he loses out on a lot of skirmishing. Now, granted, it looks like he's going to be into Maokai because Maokai Yone, so he'll get a little bit more reprieve there, but overall, I'm a little bit apprehensive if he can't get things done early, blow flashes early, put a lot of pressure on lanes.
I love the Jarvan here because who the heck picks Miss Fortune blind like this? into Sion, into Jarvan, into a bunch of spheres flying around from Syndra. I'm actually like, I love Misfortune as a champion, and I love the fact this is a stat checker, and I know that Riot really likes the stat checkers in lanes, hence the Tristana clip that we saw as well. But blind picking a Misfortune when there's so many disruptive kind of champions that can jump into the backline, just basically never let you cast bullet time, right? It gets a little bit scary, and right now you're kind of like in the question mark with the Shen locked in. Who's actually going to be killing that Sion over in the mid lane? So I think Scuffed's pick... Oh, Scuffed has actually picked the Yone, so I'm actually very scared for Chaos. I don't see enough damage to be killing Sion here.
Okay, following it up with Yeti Carry on the last one. I do think like the Shen on the early game versus the Sion is going to have a field trip, but as soon as Sion gets a little bit ahead on the game, it might be a little bit more difficult. And that would be... Yeah.
It's a lot of globals.
Misfortune is comfortable,
enough,
you know?
Yeah, I feel like both our mid laners here aren't particularly big Galio players either, so it's not like it's a huge pinch away from the mid lane pool. It is something that we saw Bizgar play last split when he was on DMG, but I think it just provides a lot of additional safety to the carries. If there is dive coming in from Jarvan and Alistar, well, now there's Galio to have to be concerned about, right? And the overall 2v2 matchup is okay too for the Misfortune and the Galio, so we'll see how they navigate, especially the first couple of minutes once lane assignments start to kind of maybe switch around the grubs and such, because that's when I feel like Galio really gets to shine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna turn nameplates off right here. I just really like what LLS got going on. You've got the mid jungle to play early through the game until Corki scales, until Sion scales, and I feel like their front to back looks pretty good as well. I mean, apart from the fact that Jarvan's not gonna have a lot of agency in locking anyone inside, other than the Misfortune perhaps later on, I feel like as long as he does his job in the early game, and Nicolix is one of those guys that plays more aggro champions for that reason, he likes to have impact in the early, so I feel like things like Pantheon, Jarvan really suit him as a jungler.
Well, with this in mind, we're just waiting for the players to be ready to jump into the rift. And as soon as we can, we'll toss it to... We already know it's going to be Initialize and Aragon. Keep in mind that this is a best of 5. Also, the first best of 5 of Summer Split, which means you lose, you're out. We've been looking into the top of the bracket so far. It has been a clean sweep. But just as Trouble highlighted, the previous time these teams faced each other, we had to buy tents because we were sleeping, waiting for this to be over on the computer. We did have a long pause waiting for the players. It was only 40 minutes, but maybe that would happen. Maybe, surely. I'm making a game show as we speak. Don't worry. If there's another delay, I got you covered. Don't worry.
He's making a game show on the go. Okay, I really like this.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
On emergency only. Emergency only. Right, chat? Send me the chat, I need help.
Okay. We'll see what evil concoction Archer manages to conjure up. I think overall, though, just to return and stay on the game for a little bit longer, I really want to see Golden Penny kind of go off. I think this is a bit of a weirdly easy game to be able to do it. I think unless Scuffed really gets a whole bunch of freedom to always get to dive the backline super easily. We're talking about 4 melees versus a Corki, and honestly, even Syndra gets to kind of fry here too, if she isn't caught up in that initial engage. So I'm really looking at
he's heading over my side.
Samson.
I'm
looking at these guys to ensure that they could really properly frontline, because otherwise I feel like these carries can feel a little bit vulnerable. But again, I feel like the flexibility of lane assignments and the globals on Chaos does mean that they don't necessarily need to play into what is traditionally like a very team fight heavy focus when you run Maokai Yone.
I agree.
You know what actually really surprises me here is not even the picks. It's the fact that Pantheon was not touched at all. And it's actually one of the champions that Nicolex really shined on when they played versus Bulldog. They could have caused a tiebreaker, right? And he's the most busted champion in the game right now.
This trouble is why I say I don't like the Jarvan being tier listed as one of these skirmishers. Because it just feels as though it's significantly weaker at flat value than basically
I'm one of
any
those
other
people
champion
that says
you could
that,
pick.
Jamada.
Like,
just so you know.
I know. I just imagine like if Nicolix is on Wukong here, for example, right? Then you even have like the clone to block out a lot of the initial CC. You've got things like Xin Zhao, easier to disperse all of the divers, right? All of these other skirmishing champions to me have significantly better tools to deal with a lot of the picks that end up in meta, and this is just another case study example to me where I feel like Jarvan is really going to struggle in this game if he basically doesn't just get to full clear and path the bot and gank bot off cooldown and make their lives really miserable. But diving Galio is very difficult. Misfortune, very, very mobile. You have to really misplay, right, on that end with the amount of movement speed that you have early on to get caught out by some of these picks. So, again, I look towards Nicolex and I say, good luck, because I think this early game is one where if you don't have lane priority to, in my mind, just bully out the Maokai, this pick doesn't have as much value as, again, things like the Pantheon, things like the Xin Zhao or the Wukong.
I agree. I want to
Maybe-
see even like a
continue.
level 2 invade right here. Maokai, though, surprisingly enough, is a pretty strong duelist in his own jungle, particularly if he does have a seed laying around. But usually when you are at that level 2 on your second camp, there's not going to be a seed laying around, right? This is going to be it. However, you can lay one in the entrance of your jungle, and obviously we'll see how Chaos prepare their wards over in the early game to potentially spot Nicolex out. But we've seen some like complete psycho early game Java gameplay from Tarzan over at MSI, which I feel like is what swayed a lot of people to switch over to the champion and mostly like pick it blind just as a skirmisher or like an early game invader or like somebody who shakes up the game early game, if you will. So I feel like Tarzan has done some damage, I want to say, but Tarzan is Tarzan, like, can't fault him, can you?
We're talking about Golden Penny and this Corki. I do like to highlight that he has been playing the Jhin and Varus only during this split, so none of the right-click auto attackers where he can dodge a little bit during the team fights. It's always from like, I only fire from afar. So I know he can do it. I know he can pilot this Corki, and I'm curious to see the difference in terms of playstyle for this Corki. We're just waiting because there was a situation with runes, so we had to redo the draft and then jump into the Summoner's Rift. That's why we're taking a little bit longer. But hey, Jamada, maybe opportunity on Jarvan. Who knows?
I don't buy it. I look, I am a full-blown Jarvan hater. I just feel like every other champion.
Wow.
I feel
like
like every
me
other
about
champion. Well, yeah, I guess it's a pretty similar argument where I don't necessarily like Vi being B1 or B like R1-2, but like B2-3, R3, that's all good. I hear music changes as well, Archer.
The
It gets me
music
excited.
changes. We're ready to go into Summoner's Rift, and we're ready to toss it to Aragon and initialize. Take it away. Whoever loses is out.
It don't get much more hype than that. Lightside in particular, if they lose, auto relegations. It is a big, big series for them. Aragon, pleasure to be on the mic with you for the first time in forever,
Oh,
mate.
it's got to be
and I'm
over
gonna-
a year now, hasn't it?
Genuinely, yeah.
It's
It's
been
been
bloody
such
ages.
a long time. And while we were there waiting, you heard the Jarvan hate and were not happy with it.
No.
You saw the Shen and we're also not happy with it. You're not a happy man right now,
I'm
Aragon.
not a happy man in terms of a lot of things. Shen and Jarvan being a couple of them, especially Jamada's takes. Now, I love Jarvan. I absolutely love Jarvan. I think it's great to play Sums around. Yeah, we see so many high-value ultimates. We saw them at MSI, you know. Owner Jarvan was insane. I think Jarvan's a great champ. And then Shen, I'm a Shen hater, so this is great. You know, so many reasons to hate.
So, like, we saw the Galio coming in as well. We're like, wait, is that going to be, like, something really weird by, like,
Yeah.
throwing the Shen somewhere in a weird location?
It's crazy.
So, I mean,
yeah.
those last two picks came on through and really completely changed the vibe of Chaos's draft. Because at first, we're thinking, yo, really big EU LPL draft with the Maokai and the AP build, setting up with this Yone Misfortune big ult
Yeah.
combo. And then they're locking the two globals in slightly outer meta ways. Your read on it so far? Because I know you're not a massive fan of Shen in general, but here in this draft.
Yeah, I think Shen, you know, in general, I'm not a big fan because of how many resources it takes to accomplish and get a lead for other people. But I suppose it can be good. You've got no Shen delivery either, so typically you want to pair it off with Dive. And you don't
Yeah.
really have a way to pair it off with Dive. I suppose you could play with Galio,
Yone
but then again,
Maokai, yeah.
yeah, it's a bit inconsistent. It's not like a Jarvan ult into the backline, you know?
Yeah, and they're not locked there. You have to hit the Yone ult.
No, the thing is, I also think they flexed the Galio to support, rather. I believe that's a secret. It's been a while since we saw draft, but Galio in support, I just view it as like a C tier champion. And usually into the Alistar, we see champions like Rakan, who is pretty solid into the Alistar as pretty often the trade. And I thought that was a great Rakan angle. So, yeah, not the biggest fan of the direction that Chaos went into, but overall, I do think they have the easier composition. When you play Maokai comps, you're just scaling and playing with so much
Press R,
setup, so
throw some
it's
saplings
easy,
in,
isn't
yeah.
it? And because of that, I actually favor the
I can
Chaos
play
draft,
it.
I think.
That's fair.
Right,
I think full
hold
lights-
up, initialize.
Yeah, okay, no,
You want
just-
Trick Evelyn, man. Like-
You're not wrong, okay? Though my tank of choice is Maokai, though I do play him AP, so maybe I'm just lying to you all, so there you go. Anyway, not that I play it well, but here we are. I think on the other side then, for light side, they've got the good front to back, they've got Scion Alistair front line, they've got the Jarvan engage. Like, it seems like pretty boilerplate, right? Like, with a little bit of extra, if you land the Jarvan flag and drag or a good Syndra Stun, you can blow someone up early. But you're still saying, actually, maybe not as easy as you'd like to see from them, or not that great into the double global and the Maokai ult problems.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to have to play around some as well. You know, those high-value ultimates I was talking about earlier, where you pop flashes, then you punish the lack of flash with another Jarvan ulti. They have a lot of single-target burst using that with the Syndra, right? So definitely going to have to play the front to back well around those summoners, and it's definitely more difficult than what Chaos have drafted. Also, just a little tidbit that I found quite interesting is that both Vayu and Samson are really heavy Shen mains. I was just looking at the stats for his account, and Samson is a Shen... I mean, at this point, you can kind of call him a one-trick. He has 66% win rate over 70 games.
Damn.
Very high elo.
That's good going.
Yeah, that's his most played champ, so...
Look, okay, Shen hate versus actual comfort from the guy. Maybe you can make it work.
No, I'm down with it.
Yeah? And like, okay, we were talking before this because I was going to set you up for this, and like we'll have this conversation because you know both of these guys from solo queue. You were saying, "Oh my God, somehow Max gone for Samson. It's another Sejuani guy, like another Sejuani top player." We've got two very idiosyncratic top players who play some very weird stuff at high elo.
I don't know how have we managed to find two Sejuani top mains and then have a Gangplank Teemo one. You know, Alan234 is like the one of two really high elo Teemo one tricks as well, alongside Vayu and another one, and he called Vayu a Giga Chad because of his pool. Like, the pool is just so silly. It's like Malphite, Gangplank, Teemo. So yeah, no, it's just a crazy matchup. I don't know what's going to go on there. I hope we get to see some kind of crazy exchange where we get Sejuani versus Teemo at one point. I think that'd be fantastic.
Still waiting to get into Rift. I think there were some issues with some summer spell choices in draft from what I'm hearing from production, so there had to be a bit of a remake on the lobby. It takes a little to get in, but it does give us a chance to let Aragon talk about the fact that these players are just weird, man.
Yeah, I do wonder if we'll have the technology to just keep the camera on the Teemo versus Sejuani one-trick matchup. That'd be so fun, just to watch the whole early game late phase. I think that'd be great. I wonder how that goes, because personally, I've never seen it, but I could imagine.
We'd have to get it. We'd have to get it. If it happens,
I'd ask production.
We'll call for it.
If we get a crazy matchup top lane, I'll call for it. I hope we could just keep the camera there. That'd be great.
Not the Shen v
no,
Sion
absolutely
matchup.
not.
That's less exciting.
That is a resident bedge. That is right there. That is a grasp on grasp war.
Yeah, what a joy that is. Just big grasp noise. It's like Heartsteel sounds. Like, is that item actually that good, or is it just that people want the sound?
I think it's really hotly debated, isn't it?
I know.
At this point, I mean, the threat of the damage is usually a debate compared to just the raw stats, but the raw stats aren't that great. So, I'm on the side, I like the damage threat. I mean, I don't know. Usually, people argue they get more health with just stacking Giant spells, but it is a debate. What do you think?
Does sound, though, like we're on to the Rift. What I think is we've got action at level 1 here from Shackle, who's going to have to flash on out. Nearly a very nice segue. I was about to have a really cool conversation with Scuffed is looking at Golden Penny, who's just eating autos from Misfortune at the level 1.
The flash?
Penny's going to have to flash.
Nice.
That's just nasty.
Yeah, that was a great Q flash. Flash away from the great Q flash as well. I mean, the auto didn't quite connect from the Yone, so I mean, it just looked like Chaos were winning on both sides of the map there. Popping the flash of the Maokai, maybe they can make plays once again onto the Maokai later on, and definitely place a ward to track the clear. I think, Maokai's pretty often start the Wraiths, so they'll be able to spot out exactly which pathing he's going to take.
Back onto the Rift we go. Hopefully that's all resolved. We see how it goes here from this point. Camstar spawning, you were right. He's on the Raptors, exactly where you expected. He's on the ward as well. See whether that can be punished from Shackle.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. Red buff rather to top side clear for the Jarvan. I think when you draft Shen, I think the most important thing is getting Shen through the early game, right? Like, getting him to level 6 and then getting him to ult as soon as possible can make such a big difference, because, like, Shen can arrive anywhere on the map. He's level 6. Everyone else is, like, level 5 without ultis. And that could be really, really painful. So, generally, when you play with a Shen, you really want to see how well the Shen plays. But Nicolex, maybe looking for a flash pop.
Yeah, I remember Scuff's already burned his flash, remember? but this God shorts the scout of the week, so won't find all that much there. I think there could have been an angle with the flash to Shoni to get a bit of a chunk there, but doesn't quite happen. Vayu, so far dodging out on those decimating smashes. Samson tried to catch him at the level 1 by just standing in a brush and pressing Q, as Scions like to do. I know you once upon a time were a big Scion main in pro play specifically, and now refuse to touch the champion.
Yeah, I mean the champ is just overpowered right now. I played a game and I thought I was cheating, to be honest. It's just so OP. I mean, we see it every day in the LPL, right? It just tanks 1 million damage and never dies. I just want to highlight some interesting pathing going on in the jungle right now. It looks like Nicolex looked for a red buff into the bot side clear. Now, typically, you do raids to bot side clear when you think you're going to be invaded bot side, and you're trying to cover your camp. So now we're getting this kind of crazy map split, which is diagonal, and I haven't seen a diagonal map split in too long because both junglers wanted to cover their camps on the invade.
But Shackle's going to be losing his buff, though, in the way that Nicolex isn't. So he'd be like Raptors for red trade, kind of?
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yeah. So no red buff for Shackle right there, but he will be able to get levels off and XP off of the Krugs right there. So maybe he can wrap around later on and look for a gank down in bot side with the setup from Sniller on this Galio, especially since the wave is pushing out. So we'll see how well Sniller can accomplish that.
He's going to be behind it, and I don't think the Maokai is necessarily a known quantity. They're pushing up with it. I think Maokai just walks on over here and they're in trouble.
Yeah. Flash, taunt.
Oh, well, that's Justice Punch, the double taunt. Now Golden Penny's in danger. Bramble Smash comes on forwards, headbutted under the turret, but manages to twist it advance away. Golden Penny and Don Ponk get out alive. Not the most elegant gank of all time, but forcing Lightside back nonetheless.
Really interesting set of pathing from both junglers here and finding it. I wonder if the twisted advance was casted onto the Corki, if there actually would have been more of, something accomplished. Maybe a cleanse pop. I believe onto Golden Penny, that could have happened, but gonna use the W onto the Alistar. Not gonna find too much, but a chunk is gonna send them back to base, and that wave state, like we alluded to before, is actually really, really favorable towards Chaos. It's pushing towards them, and it's gonna be a soft freeze.
See how that one works. Again, it might mean they're a bit overextended, and Golden Penny's still going to be down that flash for a minute or two yet. Of course, blew it at that level 1, as we kind of saw. Nicolex just leaving the single Raptor behind. Used to be done a lot more in the jungle, because then it kind of delays the respawn. Yeah. But really stopped being a thing over the last few years. People just want to be able to go steal the Raptors more regularly, bluntly.
Yeah, so the Raptors, they kind of patched it, so what happens is the Raptors just respawn fully. Instead of being stuck on 1 for the rest of the game, which is pretty nice. It's super annoying when you actually leave 1.
I genuinely missed that. That's why that explains so much.
Yeah. It's super nice, because if you accidentally leave 1, you can just leave it and you get your respawn anyway, which is super, super good.
Is it delayed respawn, or is it just the same as ever?
It's the same as ever from my experience. I learned that in jungle recently, actually, during my little climb.
I would explain it.
Yeah,
I am a jungler. You'd think I'd know these things, but no, apparently not.
Evelyn mains, man. What can you do? I just
clear Raptors. What I do? Okay, I'm just bad at the game. All right, I get it.
Sorry, I just have a hatred for Evelyn mains. Always showing up post 6, so annoying.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about that. I'm here to hit press 6 and blow people up on repeat. That's all I have in life. I never said I was good at the game.
Out of curiosity,
I have.
What do you think about the state of Evelyn? Because I haven't seen her all year.
So they basically nerfed her Q. So she doesn't clear all that fast right now. So basically means you are a farming jungler who wants to hit level 6 who doesn't clear fast enough to be a farming jungler and couldn't run Fated Ashes very easily during a Fated Ashes meta. So you kind of need to do this weird mix between snowballing and farming, as Shackle is experiencing said farming problems as Nicolex goes invading for the Wolf Camp. Scuff's going to unbind the soul, potentially look to go on through Nicolex here, who doesn't have the flag and traffic up and available. Taunt over the wall! He flashed on into it just as much the ground slam! It's a 1v3 briefly, Purple Smash over the wall, and they get the kill.
Really nice kill. Oh, the buffer on the stun almost right there.
That was really nearly very nice. They get away with it. It is the kill. The invade goes a little wrong, I think it's fair to say, Adam.
Yeah, you could tell what Nicolex is thinking, though, right? Level 5 to level 4, thinking he absolutely outwins. But I think great positioning right there from Sniller on the Galio, predicting that he would flash over. Rather than flashing over and taunting, he just stays over the blue side wall. The blue buff wall, rather. And the Bramble Smash finishes off the kill. So, yeah, excellent counterplay for Chaos.
It works out really, really well. Again, it's not leading to a massive advantage or anything right now, but Nicolex down the flash, Biscard down the flash. Nothing blown summoner-wise elsewhere for Chaos. Yeah. So end up getting quite a lot there by eats a grass proc, bot side, flash for the taunt, hang on, down Pong, ignited, it's going to be low enough, the auto through from Raya. Now they're going to continue to play Golden Penny, you're going to try and cash back in somewhere, but can't do it. Nice play from Sniller in the bot side.
Yeah, really, Sniller is kind of taking over the map right now with his gameplay. Setting up the kills down in bot, finding the kills in the jungle, and now he's only going to be even further enabled because he has his Channel as well. So I'm really excited to see how he pilots further on, especially now that Don Punk has no flash. Maybe we'll see some crazy submarines with the Galio and some setups with the ultimate right there too.
We'll keep our eyes on it. I completely agree. Again, we asked them to turn up a little bit. Nicolette just got 6 off that Skull Crab. Shackle now in danger.
Shen has
Scott
ulti.
comes over the wall. Shen does have ulti, but it's 4 people in the river. I think Shen comes in. It's potentially dangerous, but Flash comes out for Shackle, and he just gets to walk on out.
A collapse that really LLS wanted to find a little bit more on, sending 4 all the way up there versus 1. I think there's a fight up in Tribush again. Yeah, Shackle's down.
Hang on. What? How is this happening? Where is going on? Well, that's 1-to-1 in terms of the kills from that point at least. But yeah, Shackle got caught out somewhere, thought he was safe and was really not.
Yeah, I wonder if he was just recalling around the corner from Tribush, but regardless, that's going to be Grubs, and probably 3 of them, versus the Shen. And now, it is denying them from a Yone who can use Grubs super, super well, so I quite like the denial here from LLS. And it looks like with Sion moving down, there'll be no contest. Now, Maokai is beelining down towards bot side for Shackle. I wonder if they'll start up Dragon, because Maokai, after this blue buff, does a lot of damage with his damage amplification onto the neutral objective, so definitely an option here for Chaos if they want it.
I think that's probably fair. Down a fair number of camps now, Shackle, after all the weirdness in his jungle, not being on the cleanest clears of all time for a variety of reasons. Obviously, we've seen the invades and the deaths and all these kinds of things. But is looking to start up that Dragon and probably try and re-clear out. But down about 10 CS is always a little bit dicey in the early game in the jungle. But should be able to trade out those neutral objectives at least. Slightly in the mid lane as well for Bizguard, who's managing to get at least a fair amount out of the laning phase, even if, of course, Scuffed is the one who made some more proactive moves already.
Yeah, you can see LLS were suspicious that the Dragon was being started, but they aren't going to contest, it looks like. Even though they have flag to potentially scout it out, it doesn't look like the contest is going to come through. And that's a Dragon in return to the Grubs for the side of Chaos. I do think they scale, and they do outscale, in my opinion, the Corki and the Jarvan composition. I mean, Syndra has scaling elements in her own kit. But when you draft this Maokai Yone with the Wombo combo with MF, I think your scaling is absolutely crazy on objective, so...
See Rookie early today in the LPL. I'll give you no spoilers, but it was pretty mental late on.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, guys. If you haven't seen at least the highlights of that game, that is worth it. The last game, game 2. Woo.
Oh my god, yeah. There's a clip on Reddit right now, I think. So you can go see that one out. Anyway, that's another game. But either way, Yone late on can be pretty obnoxious if set up correctly. And again, it's a Yone with a Shen ult on top and a Galio ult on top. Like, at some point, the Yone 1v1 is never going to be a Yone 1v1 in a side lane. And that could be kind of a win con in and of its own right. But as you called out, the Grubs going down in favor of light side early on might help mitigate that a little bit. Never mind talking about that as Ray is just potentially dead. Hang on, Shen ult. All very better up because he's going to get here in time. Does do. Taunt comes on through. They do come to misfortune, but they're going to lose Golden Penny as a result. Donpunk with the double pulverize. Gets out, so 1-for-1, but it costs Shen ult.
It costs Shen ult, and Shen doesn't get the dodge zone just down in time to save the misfortune. So I wonder if it was on cooldown from a trade, potentially. But it looks like Shen, off of the back of that, is going to TP up topside to catch the wave. I can imagine that the Sion, Samson rather, picked up a plating with the Demolish proc. It looks like he did. But all in all, I'd argue with Shen ult being down and being a massive cooldown, 180 seconds or so, that's a massive win for LLS.
Does cost Lightside every summoner bot lane, so there is that, whereas Ray's Flash coming up a little bit sooner, so maybe that'll turn a think. And thank you very much, production. HUD fixed. We're looking back and pretty again. Oh, that looks gorgeous. Scuff now got his Q3 stack. He's going to use that to dodge away from the towers. Bizguard had been hit by, I think, a couple autos too many there in the lane. We'll need to back away.
Yeah. Shackle going to continue clearing and maybe look up topside, but you really don't have that much damage, and I'd rather not invest time trying to kill a Sion as Shen Maokai, so it looks like he's going to go for it. Samson, can you cancel the recall here with an E? Yeah, he's gonna.
Nice. Hang on, no, Samson's potentially in danger. He's going to get his hair cut. No, going to go dashing away by pressing the R button and gets out to safety.
So time investment there. Oh wait, Samson's cancelling him again. He's cancelled him again. Samson is being a pest right now as we look mid.
Speaking of pests, damage, scout of the week, and the power is unleashed, and Bizguard gets that kill onto the Yone, who overplayed his hand a little bit via with the shadow dash forwards, gets a bit of damage down, but doesn't lead to all that much. Shackle somehow in this bush is going to be spotted out, going to throw down the Maokai ultimate, but get caught out in the Cataclysm and trade, but here comes the Galio ultimate turn, jumps them all inside that Cataclysm, 3-man taunt after, but well buffered through by the flag and drag Shackle. Sam magic healing is solid, but where are you running to? Flash on forward for the Dark Sphere, and Bizguard picks up a second.
Ooh, the hero's entrance isn't enough. That is a support Galio, so it's not like he has that much damage at this stage of the game. And that's
they
another
can.
massive global invested for Chaos without that much of a reward.
You're absolutely right, and I seem to remember early on saying, "Oh, it might be a bit of a resident sleeper game." These two teams later, last time we saw them, were playing really slow. This has been a bloodbath. They've been all over the place making plays.
Yeah, and I think LLS are getting the better of things with the scaling coming online for the Syndra right here. As Samson takes up 100 damage, the shield is going to keep him alive. Already accelerated to the Blackfire Torch. You have Sundered Sky completed on the job, and now this is the go button for LLS. The Sundered Sky Spike is so powerful. You can win almost any duel in the jungle, so I'd love to see LLS be even more aggro from now on. Potentially look for dives with that Alistar in side lane if you want to, or play with a Syndra for that burst, as she has also completed Blackfire Torch, but everyone on LLS outside of the support role completing their first item, and this is a huge spike to play around.
It really is. On the other side, you've at least got the Bloodthirster in for the Misfortune. You've got the Leandries in. Scuff going to try it out with Nicolex here. Not leading to all that much. I believe the Smite was securing that Scuttle Crab. Indeed it was, so Nicolex managed to get that. Flag and Drag comes on through. Scout of the week after, but Sniller's around. This gets a bit interesting. Look at Don Ponk on the other side as well. Shielded Duran Taunt comes on through. Shackle coming on down as well, but he doesn't have the ultimate. It's going to face check an Alistair shortly, but the Q3 comes on out from this Yone. Looking for more. Nicolex flag drags away. Bizgod with the Force of Will available. Knocks up onto Sniller, who just gets executed. What on earth is going on? Now into the jungle we go. Shackle's got an ult on top from Shen. The violence ain't stopping. Now there's damage on top of the Alistair, who just presses the R button. Golden Penny trying to turn his way around. Got the Conqueror stack. Scuff coming on forwards though. Has got a Fate Seal to work with. Don Pog doesn't have that.
Oh, the
much
Taunt
movement.
Flash!
And the Taunt Flash! Value. Golden Penny trying to get out to safety with the Valkyrie, but there's still a Nature's Craft to work with. He's rooted up by the longest cats in the world. And they pick up a double kill. Nicolex comes on, got a Cataclysm. Brattle's match comes on through. Someone find me a break in the fight, because it ain't stopping yet. Vio finds the Shadow Dash. He's got a little bit of a respite there from that shield, but he's in a 1v2 and another kill goes the way of Bizgard. Are you not entertained, folks? 13 kills in 14 minutes.
Did we say scaling? We meant an absolute bloodbath on this game. In the meantime, look at Sion up topside. You can see Samson's taking an entire turret. Both AD carries dropped waves in mid lane. I think Golden Penny completely dropped his wave to just go move and find a play, and everyone was on board with that. What a crazy set of events. I don't even know where to begin. I think it all starts with Jarvan getting collapsed on the Yone by the Yone.
But yeah, it kind of was, but like that's probably the right place. So I'm sure we'll get replays as well. But like the end result of this one, like look at the gold at the top of the screen.
Yeah,
it was even. It's really not anymore.
I mean, half of that has to be Samson getting entire turret himself, right? Yeah. All alone, just leaving the Sion up there whilst everyone else was committed to this fight. Shen ults in, walks down. I don't even know how he got there. There's everyone in this fight. But yeah, Sion now extremely accelerated, almost at his second item completion, whilst Vayu is in the bargain bucket. Look at his items right now. He's incredibly sad in comparison to the Sion right now.
I mean, that's exactly the way to put it. It's a rough place to be. He's gone towards the early Tiamat to help clear the wave a bit. But I was chatting with you, and you're saying, look,
yeah, it's
Tiamat
not great.
as a starting item sucks.
Yeah.
It's just miserable.
It is. I mean, Shen is a pretty unique champion that can have pretty funky builds. Typically, you see stuff like Titanic Hunter Deadmans. But, I mean, I'm not going to doubt Vayu. He's a massive Shen player, so I'm sure he has his reasoning for the double wave clear items. Wow, sorry, I'm catching my breath a little. This was ridiculous. And now I'm just looking at what could possibly happen next. Because it's just a massive influx of gold that I feel like if you bring Samson to any fight, especially once he's completed this Frozen Heart, he's going to be Thanos. You just won't have the DPS to cut through Samson right here. And I think it's going to be incredibly hard, especially with a lack of DPS. Maybe you have Scuffed for DPS right here, but with a Misfortune, Samson's scaling a little bit, I fear, as this game goes on.
Yeah. It's going to be really tricky. Killing off that Yone, that Sion will eventually be something like the Yone and the maybe a late game Maokai burn build kind of thing too. It's not going to be easy. And the other side is like Bizgod is 401, 1500 gold ahead, 10 CS ahead. He's already 80 plus stacks on the Syndra because he's picked up so many kills and so many shards from just hitting champions. Like, this is a very accelerated Syndra, both in terms of the gold and also just in terms of like stacking both the passive, and he's got a 9 stack Dark Seal. That's like an extra 600 gold worth of stats just from that.
Yeah, a Syndra is extremely accelerated, but I want to turn your attention to the 2 items at 17 minutes for Samson right now. So, typically, what I imagine mid-game win condition for Chaos would be to Shen ult and find players onto side lane, but look at this. LLS, they're not dealing with it. They're just going to shut down Vayu on the spot.
Yeah, can't quite get the kill as the Hero's Entrance comes on through. Nature's Grass coming on down now. Lightside perhaps got a little deep as the Globals come on through, but where's the damn damage? Scuff could look to do something, maybe, but Shackle's in a sudden 1v5 as down from town comes Samson driving on in. Biscott's picked up a double somewhere off screen. We had to cut to black because it was too brutal to watch. They did at least get a kill back, but we've lost 3. I don't know what's going on, Aragon.
How is it 5 versus 5 every time we look at the screen? Initialize. What are these teams doing? I love the team fights and the use of the globals to find fights off cooldown. They try. LLS try to collapse onto Vayu on side lane. And whilst they don't find the kill onto Vayu, I believe, I can't tell you what happened in that fight word for word, but they managed to find 3 anyway onto the Syndra, and now we're staring down the barrel. A Chaos is staring down the barrel of a 7-0 Syndra for Bizgard.
He's got a Magice.
He's got 3
items.
Oh gosh, turn away. That's going to be a powerful ultimate, I think, coming soon. I do not envy being Raya.
He's about 5 stacks off getting... Actually, we'll have to talk about that a little later. His Golden Penny potentially in danger. Doesn't have the flash. They can jump for him. He's got the flash back up! Just in time, and Golden Penny gets away with it.
Vayu's Taunt Flash doesn't quite connect. It's just out of range for Golden Penny, but... And that's a bunch invested now. I mean... TP's flying across the map to catch waves. It feels like Chaos is trying to desperately make plays on one side and then not be able to be everywhere at once to catch the cross map. And look at this, Herald on mid, taking the mid tower, and now Herald to bang on the walls of your base with that tier 2. A flank from Maokai though.
With the Channel on top, it doesn't matter though. That Maokai desperately low. Vayu is there, gets the Taunt of the Golden Penny. Fate Seal comes through, but not before the Valkyrie does. Now Donpong potentially in danger. Gets the pulverize onto Vayu, who's hit by that force of will. Bizgard doing a lot of work. Summer in the backline. Nicolex has killed off Rhea. That's the coach subbing in and smashing on the Java. Flashes afterwards for the Martial Cadence auto. Sniller sees no more, and they will ace. I repeat, ace Chaos, who are losing to their namesake.
LLS, they've decided they want this game to be completely boomed. They're going to take that mid lane tower for free, a tier 3 broken at 1930. It looks like not actually going to commit to it, but rather reset for the Dragon setup. But still, my word, what a crazy sequence of events. Once again, taking the tier 1 and tier 2 tower, whilst Chaos, they just can't keep up macro-wise. All these map plays that Chaos are trying to put in are being matched twice over by LLS.
And this is a light side that switched out their jungler for their coach. This is a coach who's coming into place. Don Ponks is coming in as well. Light side, we're in the lower bracket. Chaos came down to here. They're going to run onto the Atacama right now. I don't think it's cooked.
What's the expression? You're an expression guy. What's the expression? Those who can't play coach, but like Nicolex is playing and he's insane. So can you explain that one to me, Initialize?
I mean, I don't know. I think he's just better is the answer right now.
He's better.
Like, better. I mean, like, we do that and then Bizgard 903, 22 stacks on the Medjais. This is a light side who are playing for their NLC careers. They lose this series. Reminder, guys, they're going straight into relegations. They could just not be here next year. And right now, in Game 1, they are not just like beating Chaos, they're dismantling them.
They are. The fights and the way they pilot the fights, the micro has just been completely LLS favored off of the back of what feels like Nicolex and Bizgard really taking the lead and the initiative on the plays as Chaos, they tried desperately, right? On the other hand, Chaos, they tried desperately to cross-map these fights down in bot side. Tier 2 loss now for Chaos as I feel like LLS aren't even going to lose a tower topside. Maybe that could have been a little bit of a reprieve. Getting an objective bounty on the tier 1, but they just can't match into Samson's wave clear. Look how tanky he is. The accelerated Scion with the Frozen Heart unending. Scuffed can't get through that health bar.
I mean, how's he even going to touch the guy right now? It's so rough. Scuff misses his Q3 there afterwards. He's doing his best. Another decimating smash. Gets that knock up there. He's finally getting a little bit of damage down, but how long is this taking? Shackles stopped his recall coming up, but look who's coming down the line. It's Bizgard! Of course he's here! The Force of Will makes it legendary, and there are all 25 stacks in the book. He's found every autograph he could ask for.
Believing in the Blade of the Ruin King a little bit too hard. They're scuffed, I think, as Samson just tanks for so long enough for Bizgard to walk on up and press his buttons. That's a 25 stack Medjaz right there, a death cap almost, and Raya dying on my screen.
Oh god, well he gets caught in that. Golden Penny just stands and delivers. Will probably die as the Shen comes and finds the taunt. Science TPing and they're going to try to run Nicolex in a 1v3. Does not give a damn. Bizgard now around, scatters the weak, and Chaos adjusts that, looking for more. 10, 0 and 5 is this Syndra. And he's just going to keep marching down mid lane.
Give me 4 more of these in the shots. What is happening? They're just fighting and fighting and fighting, and the typical set plays that you'd expect to see with these champions aren't happening. It's just a pure hands check every 2 seconds.
The problem is Chaos aren't fighting. They're just getting punched repeatedly in the face. Lightside have won all of the fights for the last 12 minutes, it feels like. And how on earth, from this kind of gold, it's 12,000 gold down. And most of it is in the bloody hands of this Syndra, who's 4.4k ahead.
I really hope I don't see a death cap appear in that inventory right now as he goes to base. Pull it hard!
Avert your eyes. Avert your eyes! Oh, no!
That's 675 AP. Once again, we'll see which poor soul takes that Syndra Unleash power to the face.
Yeah, production. Could you stick a little word in chat about exactly what the damage numbers on the R are right now? I'm just curious, just to let me know. Of course, it's got the execute at this point, because on top of everything else, Bizgard's got all the splinters of Wrath now as well. Be Syndra R production, thank you for yelling in my ear. That's what we're after. I want to know what Bizgard is doing when he presses R. I need to know.
Hovering Syndra?
Oh,
1,856 with an execute.
that's who has 2,000 HP on Chaos right now?
It's got to just be Vayu at this stage, right? I mean, maybe even Nicolix doesn't have that. Oh no, he does. He has 3.2k. As the fight comes down.
Yeah, he's going to get to jump away there. The Decimated Smash comes on down. Sion will blast Cone out, but Chaos looking for the potential. Fade still comes on through. Nicolix, but in danger, but flashes over the wall. Does so well. Scuff flashing forwards. He's unbound his up, but for how much longer can he keep going? Flag and Drag comes on through. He has to rebind. It's Araya now in the 1v1 with the Java and Flag and Drag away. Nicolix, where are you going, my son? He's just going into the enemy base.
What can we get? What can we gain out of that LLS? Look at bot side.
Oh, hang on, they've got Samson coming on over Golden Pennies here. Snell's going to flash away all the while. You're right, Bizgard's on that tier 3. The chaos is unending, and I'm not talking about the enemy team. The bullet time finally comes on through, and Dompong does not care. He lost 10% of his HP if that Golden Penny survives again, and the fight just continues. Looking for more value, Bizgard lands the Force of Will, looking for the Dark Sphere after. Raya does kill off Dompong, and maybe for once, Lightside have gone a little too deep. Vayu trading out with Samson. They will need to back away. They lose 2 members finally to Lightside, but Bizgard turns on up, and he's the person you really need to be afraid of. Executed.
Bizgard misses his Q, his W, his E, but presses R, and he finds the kill onto Vayu right there at the end of it. What another hectic fight. It just feels like maybe a bit of an overextension from LLS, but of course it starts off on the back of Nicolix trying to buy time after getting caught on the escape. Gets a 2-man knocker, but you can see the Sion Global coming in with the drift. Samsung manages to arrive in time, and Golden Penny also. But in the end, it's going to be a chaos win out of this fight, as you can see Bizgard hitting the tower down in bot side, but he doesn't feel comfortable just staying there on this Syndra hitting towers and inhibs when he's so fed. So he tries to come on over to help. And I think we top it all off with the ultimate from the Unleashed power.
Aragon, is there like any realistic way to analyze a game like
No,
this?
not at all. I'm trying though, man.
Yeah, I was like, what do you do in a scenario like this? I suppose just enjoy the ride is the answer. Samson trying to body block off Baron is started. This could potentially be a bit where you get flipped. Sniller is in danger. Shielded Ram comes on through the Fate Seal. Does land, but not before Galio is turned into rubble. Vayu now comes on in. Has not got ult. Needs to flash away. And Bizgard finds another 13, 0, and 5. The unluckiest sight for Chaos in this game.
Nicolix EQs forward, the flag and drag, and it's going to find the kill onto Scuffed. Raya is getting run down as well with the smite slow. Where's the cooldown? There it is.
Oh, flag and drag gets the attacks out. He's just walking at it. The misfortune is under her turret. And it means nothing. Another flag and drag. And Nicolix will get the barrier at the scan of the week. Finds a 14th kill for Bizgard.
14, 0, 5, 6, 3, 13, 26 kills to 9 on the scoreboard as we go to close out this game.
We were expecting Chaos to handily do it with the exception of Aragon, who believed, and maybe he was right too. Game 1 is utter destruction from Lightside, who sent Chaos to the end of the tunnel. They are the light at the end of it.
I always believed in Lightside, and their new substitute in Samson also showed up. Man, what a mental game. Permafights off cooldown, every single opportunity you get. No, there was no scaling. What kind of expectations are we setting with the Maokai and the Yone? No. They're bringing down the globals. They're fighting every single time.
And it felt like post a certain point, every fight was Lightside, and Chaos could not win in their own namesake. Desk, take it from here. You got a
luck.
bloodbath to analyze. Aragon doesn't have to do it anymore. He gets the break.
Thank you so much.
Analyze?
We talked about this. We talked about
Analyze?
Chaos Light Side. It's just extreme chaos, blood everywhere. It's hey, it's what we live for. No, it's not. Okay, so how did this
It's what some of us live for. Look,
Yeah.
how did it start? It started when they spawned on the rift and realized that they were allowed to right-click each other to kill each other. That's how it started.
But
I mean, in all
permanently,
seriousness,
every time.
yeah, every time. I mean, in all seriousness, this was a game about both junglers, right? And I know I was very, very critical of this Jarvan pick, and for good reason. Many, many, many times you will see people slam a Jarvan really early, and it just kind of ends up being useless because there's not a lot of
For our
value
side,
in what you
Yamada.
can actually use the ult on. However, the route around that is just fist fight, invade, do that off cooldown, and hey, like Nicolex was finding angles to push Karl off camps, was level 6 first, which led to, you know, a continual snowball in and around these objectives, basically throughout the entire game. Like, after he got that invade off at the Wolves and then he hit level 6 early on the Scuttle, the game just kind of felt like a wrap for Shakal, and it felt as though his ability to actually impact the map was really limited by the fact that if the Jarvan was around, you can't really look to take those 2v2s, those 3v3s.
Trouble.
just feel
We
like-
also need. Tell me. Trouble.
Yeah,
Let's
I just
talk,
feel like
let's
it was a handicap from draft, unfortunately, from Chaos right here. They just chose so much scaling through the Yone, and then you've got AP Maokai, and then you've got Shen and 2 globals. But literally no one is really doing damage. And the Sion being left alone to take an entire tower with 5 tower plates, and
That's
suddenly the
it.
Misfortune was just completely unable to go through that wall, right? So your early to mid bridge, which the Misfortune should act as until the Yone comes online on the 2 to 3 item power spike, was just unfortunately not there due to the Siren becoming a monster. And I will say, for Biscard, we said for him, just play comfort, control mages. I've got the screenshot right here, 14-0-5. Ended the game with a 6.5 thousand gold lead over his counterpart and 25 Magi stacks.
Like when we go into replays and we want to see back to back, which is team fight. Side lanes, I don't think they existed. Just as you said, Jamada, right click was the ordeal of this game.
Yeah, this is just, as far as I know, going to be a package of just death for the next minute
Carnage!
or so.
Just pure carnage!
And
Love it.
I think, Archer, what you just highlighted was really kind of the subtext of this game too. Chaos would ideally like to play side lane here. Like,
Right?
in my opinion, I feel like playing 5v5 versus, you know, you've got Maokai, they have Alistar and another frontline that can tank the ultimate. They've got Syndra and Corki. You don't really want to play front to back in this kind of circumstance where you've got Shen and Yone. You want to play on the side lane, Galio 2 to cover. Light
It's
side,
just funny when you
even
dunk people with
after
Cataclysm.
I know, it's pretty jokes. Even after the fact that, you know, we get out of these kind of skirmishes realistically for nothing, when Lightside, or rather when Chaos tried to open out to side lanes, you'll just get stuff like this where, okay, we'll just collapse on the Shen, right? Attack the global. It's the old tried and true method. And even when you've got multiple globals here, at this point, Lightside was so far ahead, it didn't even end up mattering.
There you go, it's the carnage. We talked about it, and as soon as that sign was unleashed, I agree. Trouble. You said it. Nobody could actually bring him down. It had to be the Yone. Yone was so far behind, and Bisgard had one of those games. Just one of those games, and it's only game 1.
I will say, if LLS have really figured out that what Chaos are really good at is just permanently fighting, but right here they had the inferior draft to do so, to just click 5 versus 5 and properly fist fight. If LLS constantly pick better 5v5 early to mid game drafts, I think I might just eat my words by saying that Chaos could 3-0 this game, because LLS came in with a plan. They were like, hey, listen, we'll give our jungler an early game skirmisher and we'll just skirmish and fight them. That's how the Syndra got fed. And if you're not aware with this, when Nicolex smurfs, he's called Nico Flex. And that's exactly what he was in this early game.
There you go. Not only that, LLS takes their first W of the split. They were on the lower bracket for a reason, but now they can breathe differently. Keep in mind, if they lose the cities, they're going to relegations. But this is a good start for Light. There's light at the end of the tunnel, but there's also game 2 right after a break. I'll see you soon. Welcome back. Light side leading the series. Keep in mind, this is a series for your life. For LLS, it's to stay on the split and also not be relegated. For Chaos is to stay on the split as well. We talked about LLS, but what happens if Chaos is the one losing? We also have to understand how DMG versus Ruddy ends up, because Chaos could be on the line for relegations as well. It's complicated life for the lower bracket, but it's also you lose, you're out. We talked about it. Promoted to viewer.
Okay, so just to break it down, if LLS lose here, done. Relegation for LLS. If Chaos lose here, they have to wait for the DMG series to conclude for them to figure out their fate in terms of relegations, right? So this series, very, very, very important for both of them, but particularly for LLS because they're literally on the line of that relegation.
Jarvan is out though, so no more Cataclysm, no more pinching everybody on the 5v5. Maybe we get a different macro, because we got a lot of micro on the previous one. Macro, what is that? What's that word? Macro, we want to fight.
I personally, as an analyst, I've never heard of that word.
You know what? Bring Tryndamere.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what ends up happening in this game number 2. I feel like if I'm light side and that's how Chaos decided to open up their series,
yeah,
I want to keep the pressure up. I want to keep the agency high. I want to make sure I've got playmaking tools. Kind of, honestly, contrary to how I wanted them to play coming into the series, I think it's just about adapting and kind of looking at what your opponent's up to and seeing if you can make a repeat of that, happen. Obviously, win, but just the overall game state of, hey, these guys are not ready for constant off cooldown skirmishes, even if there's not necessarily an objective ready. It's just about fighting off the priors we have. So looking for priority lanes in draft, looking for ways to actually enable, Nicolex to continue to skirmish, as I just feel like Chaos, if that first game's anything to go by, they're not capable of keeping up as of right now.
But this is what they really enjoy from what we've seen during groups and stuff like that. Chaos likes this sort of gameplay. Maybe, is it like they should focus more on the early game, as they did with LR, the Tristana, those sort of ideas of, I want to fight?
I feel like what they did really, really nicely versus LR was that they picked prio lanes and lanes that could bully and fight, right? Jamada mentioned it earlier, the Tristana into the Kai'Sa. Particularly when you're on red side, I think you should definitely be looking for those types of picks that will really pinch your opponents in lane. Varus now open and available, right? He's gonna lock that one in. Pantheon banned this time around, but we do still have things like the Rumble and the Gwen still up and available for top lane.
Yeah, top lane prio pick's still there. Pick of the litter jungle too. I'm curious about what Golden Penny's answer is going to be here. Into the AD, if it's going to be something a little bit more hyper carry oriented or something like the Jhin. Just as normally it will be a Jhin kind of answer that you see into Varus if you want to go utility for utility. But it will be Sivir, which I know Aragon rates quite highly, and I definitely agree. It's a very nice middle ground between, being almost a raw utility pick through the wave clear and the ultimate, but also just being able to provide so much DPS, particularly in clustered team fights. And the Orianna also comes through immediately. So my expectation now is Nicolex is going to look towards the Nocturne, but also this is a spot where, if you're Shakal, like Jarvan would have been awesome, but now it's gone against those double immobile carries.
I'm just so confused. LLS went from, hey, we were on blue side and we picked fist fighting and somehow we came up ahead in the matchups, but now we're on red side. We have the chance to counter pick, but from what I'm seeing right here, this is all full front to back scaling. I'm looking for that one guy that's gonna drive that early game home. I'm looking at Nicolex, I'm looking at the AD kind of champions in the jungle. The only one that speaks out to me now that the Wukong has been picked away is the Xin Zhao, but I don't see a lot of support for the Xin Zhao in this early game to play through.
Yeah. We'll see where they decide to go. I'm not particularly a fan of Chaos's rotation here of the Wukong. I feel like if you are expecting a most likely, it's Nocturne or it's, I guess, Xin, right? I feel like Trundle just kind of trumps both of those picks, and you also have the pillar value of, dealing with 2 immobile champions at the same time. And they go towards Scuffs on the Hui here, which is also a takeaway from Bizguard. But I feel like for Chaos, if you're running Varus, you're running Wukong, you're against the immobile carries that you're against, why not run the Annie, right? So a lot of big question marks in my mind right now from both sides, but I feel like at the very least, at least with the Nocturne, you get to force fights a little bit earlier, right? If you can get Nocturne ahead of the curve, then at the very least, skirmishing becomes certainly an option, and then you can use that as the bridge to get, the Sivir and the Orianna online faster.
Okay, one thing that I really don't like when I have a Sivir and Orianna is champions that really dive in, and I'm getting even more confused because I would say, hey, we have a Nocturne, you need something to start the fight, potentially. Hide through fog, Samson was great on the Sion, Ornn would be the next thing that I can think about when I'm looking at things like a front to back, because we saw yesterday as well a Sivir that had absolutely no frontline for her, and he just fell short. Unless you can sit there and auto attack and get that Sivir that's been scaled on 2 to 3 items to auto attack opponents, get these ricochets, get the crits, get them low enough for the assassination, it's just not quite gonna work. So right here I'm seeing 2 completely different compositions for LLS, one that wants to dive in with the Orianna ult and another one that wants to play for the Sivir front to back. So far I'm just looking for the identity. Which one are you gonna lean more towards? And with the Ornn ban, I think they're leaning more towards the all-in.
There might be even an angle, I'm gonna say this, that Samson, for instance, plays a Sejuani. So maybe you can pair that up with the Nocturne. It is banned. It is. First one, I'm not used to that, I swear. This is not a thought that usually comes here, the Sejuani top.
I mean,
so
my expectation now for Donponk is, with the Braum ban, is you're looking for a melee support, right? So
Leona,
it's
yeah.
either going to be Nautilus Leona, it ends up being the Leona here, and they'll lock that one through. Also, versing immobile carries, I feel like that Leona pick, being able to force out flashes, maybe even a cleanse Raya is now most likely going to have to take, is super valuable. Snilla, it also dissuades, I feel like, the Rakan pick, but you can still take it. The matchup isn't obviously fun in the 2v2, but how often are, lanes played out 2v2 consistently over long periods of time? I feel like the answer is not that much. Goes towards the Renata, so small pivot, and I kind of don't mind this, because for Chaos, you can use this comp to be very reactive, right? Varus can, peel off very, very well. Wukong can be used defensively. Hui has loads of AoE that diving into is honestly quite scary, so I'm curious now about what Vayu wants to lock in. The Poppy is up if he wants to blind it, and he's not afraid of Samson's champion pool, but he goes towards the Cho'Gath, and it's still very much down that line of thinking of, hey, I've got the knock-up, I've got the silence, I can deal with these divers quite well, but you open yourself up to a lot of very strong potential counter picks like this Gwen when you blind something like the Cho'Gath.
I actually really like the Renata right here, because we said LLS that we're going to lean more towards the dive. Renata is one of the best anti-dive supports out there. You want to dive the Varus, you've got the oh my god, what is her shield called?
I can't remember. The Shroud? Talking about the Shroud for...
No. The shield that gives you second life. You guys know what I'm talking about, the second life. She
the
can ult you. Bailout, thank you very much. The ult when you dive it in. So
okay.
I really do like what Chaos got going on right there, because they actually adapted halfway through the draft of what LLS was showing right here, right? So I do like that. I also like the range into melee for the Leona. Leona dives in, you can just throw her back out. So I'm actually very excited to see Chaos try to pretty much bring this one out. I feel like that's what they have thrived on, having those more aggro lane dominant AD carries such as Varus.
Yeah, I agree. This Renata can entirely change the aspect of fights. And if we're going into the game 1, fully fights, maybe this is the one that is going to tip the points in favor of Chaos, making this a 1-1. Jamada Triple Link, I need predictions after the draft. I need to know before we toss it to casters. I hope they're ready. Tell me, Jamada.
I feel like I always see Orianna Nocturne win, so I'm going to go with Lightside game 2 here.
Okay, Trouble.
Chaos all the way. I love the Renata pick. I think it's going to be very useful.
I agree. Let's see what happens within the rift. But in order for that, initialize, take point. Good luck, my boss.
I've already got some more honey water. My voice is ready. I'm joined by the mighty Aragon. I'm ready. I've never been more on point. And before we start memeing about it too much, as we head on to the Rift and get ourselves a wonderful cinematic tour of Summoner's Rift, Flight's going for as little as... I was going for a Jet 2 reference and we come straight back out again. Clearly we can't do it. And there would have been some memes of that. Either way, there is the Rift. Lightside, importantly, win a game in summer. That is their first win all summer. They need 2 more. If they do, relegation staved off for now. Chaos, just coming down from the upper bracket, was not what they were hoping for in game 1. It was messy stuff, and they got smashed, dude.
Yeah. I mean, LLS, they really need this win. Otherwise, it's insta relegations, right? No buffer, just straight in there. Whereas Chaos, they do have a small buffer, so breathing room there for Chaos if they do lose. But, you know, LLS with the fire under them, maybe they'll get them over the edge. As we see some interesting matchups, I think I'm on the side of Jamada on the analyst desk. When it comes to compositions, I quite like the Nocturne Ori because they do have some dive. However, I will say that Chaos, this game is really interesting initialized. You have a lot of range. So when it comes to the Varus Hui, or at least specifically the Hui, since it's not a lethality Varus, actually, with that Renata, you have a lot of range. And hold up, Golden Penny?
He was not expecting Rhea and Scylla to be in that tri-brush. He's in so much danger. Heal for more damage. Has to flash away. Nicolex is coming on down, but that is a flash off Sivir at level 1. They've now face-checked the Nocturne, but they're still in a 1v2.
Nicolex is 1v2?
Nicolex is 1v2. Gets the Conquest down on Don Pox coming on over. Flash out. What? Forwards. What is happening? Not again!
Scylla and Ryan are looking for the 2v3, but Nocturne knows. Nicolex knows how much he can do, the limits perfectly. Playing aggressive for as long as possible so that the Leona could come, so that Dompuck could come and finish the kill as well. What? Golden Penny manages to live too and doesn't even burn the cleanse. He just has to pop the flash.
He's got a healing pot, flash away from Snilla finally, but he's not been able to reset or anything. I mean, it's Lemmings. Aragon, it's Lemmings. They all go in one by one and Golden Penny starts by face-checking.
Each time, Golden Penny does not expect the level 1 to Renata Varus, which is very strong with that lethal tempo. And I thought with the flash auto here from Rhea, maybe, but Sivir's out of vision, I suppose, when you flash auto attack. And then Nicolex, with the AoE on the passive auto, and then the Conqueror, he feels confident as well. So you just have this silly situation where then Dompunk finds a kill with an Ignite.
I don't know where to begin. Well, there we go. If we're wondering whether it was going to be a different game to last game, no, it's not.
No.
The madness begins. Pre-minion spawning, gotta love it. Top side, good chunk there onto Samson, but to sidestep that rupture. And we were both a little bit blindsided by going, wait, what? Gwen's available for R5?
Yeah.
Rumble was let through the draft as well. We're so used to both of those champions kind of being immediately banned all series or picked up game 1.
Yeah, I mean, it is really surprising, but I think the read here from both teams is, neither of these top laners really play meta champions. Gwen isn't really a champion, very similar to the champions that Samson mains. So pulling it out might be surprising. Wow, have we had this kind of technology before? That's super interesting. Shackle taking a W over the wall to look for an invade. Potentially the bot lane prior with the Varus Renata.
He's going to try and start this blue buff. We'll now know that Nicolex is going to be on the Gromp, but I think Nicolex not going to smite this Gromp and maybe come and play this regardless. It's going to get a little interesting. Shackle got that brush to play around. We'll spot out Nicolex there, trying to ward him off. This gets interesting. Didn't burn the smite. Snilla coming on up. Does Shackle want to try and play for the smite fight and come on out of here with the Nimbus Strike angle to try and get on top of it? It's an early smite! Oh no, still got it regardless. Shackle's going to have to get out of there. They call him Shankos. That is very much not the player. And has to leave there without the blue buff he came to steal.
Nicolex wins. I believe Shackle didn't have smite. I quickly glanced towards the hood. Although I'm not 100% sure right there. Scott just denies away that crab, by the way. He just steals it on the way.
He's got no HP, by the way. Got chunked out really hard by Bizguard. And so stabs that one away. So it could be a lot worse. Going to go towards the top side Scuttle Crab regardless, especially with the fact that Wukong is on the bot side of the map.
Yeah. So overall, somewhat winning for Nicolex, who misses out on bot side Crab but gets top side Crab and managed to secure his bot side blue buff despite not having prio in bot lane. As we go to a relatively neutral state, both of these junglers are gonna, and no flash, but both of these junglers generally, they want to farm to level 6 and get their ultimates before they do too much. And Nicolex accelerated slightly faster, I do believe, here on this clear. But because of that, I don't anticipate too much action. Having said that, we're talking about Chaos versus LLS, so maybe I'll be completely wrong, and Shackle will find a double kill here.
Oh, they're going to go in and he's behind them both, so they might well be going to get the kill onto Snilla regardless. Now it's a 1v2. Good arrow there onto Don Bonk, I think will just be traded back. So it ends up being a kill onto the Sivir, but on the other side, it is Shackle who picks at least one back up. Samson's got the Conqueror stacked. I think Vayu needs to be a bit wary here.
The flash.
When is the snip available? Flash for it. And Samsung, the hair is long, and that's a little ironic considering he's carrying a pair of scissors.
Yeah, Cho'Gath into Gwen is miserable. Well played for a Samson there, and a flash away from Vayu to try and survive, but he doesn't quite make it. This matchup is miserable for the Cho'Gath. You are just a beefy tank. You tank every sweet spot on the Gwen Qs. You do not outscale unless you go like some crazy AP build onto Vayu. Having said that, this guy is a Teemo one trick, and he's building a Hextech alternator on the Cho, so
oh my God,
he is itemizing to win the side lanes here. Snilla.
That's a level 2 Renata who went to contest Raptors. And he is indeed just dead. There's a darkness on course of him, courtesy of the Duskbringer. And Nicolex just brings down the Renata. The madness continues. It's 5 kills in 5 minutes.
I don't understand. These games are amazing. I really like watching them. I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for it. I mean, these junglers, they don't even do anything. That's the like these drafts, right? Bot lane is definitely the most volatile side of the map, with the double range lane to poke and perma push, and the setup from the Leona with potential ganks. But you have two full clearing junglers who aren't going to really look for anything generally. But look at Don Ponk. He's just in mid lane finding plays as we look also topside with the 2v2 that could come out here.
Yeah, Wukong v Nocturne, but the Nocturne is like 20 CS up and has already got the back off. Sheen v Tunneler, perhaps a bit more even. They're going to try and find an angle behind us. Samson pulls out the needlework, gets a big chunk onto the Cho'Gath, who has an alternator and no HP, so could well be at risk of this dive here. How far is... We are going to dive. It's level 6. Going to be a bit wary here. Are we going to see a feast?
Oh my gosh. I think Value's trying to hold the wave outside of his turret. He can't quite make it. He's going to die to another auto.
Dustbringer! Not quite in range. Going to die to the auto. Nicolai stepping on forwards. Upper Glaives! Come on forwards. They got the kill on Biscard in the river being run up by Shackle. It's not done! Keep running. Conquest down and Shivering Bolt.
Oh, Biscard!
Shockwave! Shockwave from the gods. Flash on forwards. Umberglaive. Auto down. Nicolex helps turn it around.
Heartbreaking for Shackle and Scuffed right there. Not finding the kill with the Severing Bolt onto Biscard. As Nocturne's level 6! I think Scuffed is down! Wait!
Oh, fear for fear!
No!
Fear for fear!
Scuffed hides the fear.
Gets the Grim Visage off after the fear comes on through. Just fears him under turret. Nocturne meets his match, horror for horror.
And finding the play. I mean, that's a shutdown onto Scuffed. You have to give credit where it's due. That was a nice outplay to Scuffed right
Genuinely,
there.
yes.
Onto the dive, and Nicolex biting up a little bit more than he can chew on that Nocturne, but that's big, right? You really want these early globals to be impactful, just like you wanted the Shen and the Galio ults to be impactful last game, because they have very long cooldowns. Once again, in the realm of about 180 second cooldown, Nocturne is going to be much weaker than his counterpart for a time being, as Wukong is on the level 6 spike once he levels up right now.
Vayu just walked on over and feasted away a grub on that death timer for Nicolex. That's actually really nice. So should still be 2 grubs over the light side. I think Wukong's around but going the other direction.
Yeah.
But it's going to deny all 3. And you know what, Vayu? Nice idea. Gets him a stack towards his Cho'Gath passive as well.
Yeah, still majority of the grubs are going to go towards LLS right there. And I was actually caught off guard a little bit by how behind Shackle was. Still... like almost an entire... he was almost an entire level pre-grubs. Catching up a little bit now as he chooses to farm his camps. But still, very, very far behind. But now he has his ultimate, so he could look for a play right here if he wants to go onto Bisgard.
Here we go. Flash on forwards with the Nimbus Strike available. Dodges away some of that fire, but there's still a second Cyclone, and the Spiraling Despair comes on through, and Scuffed finds a second. This way, now looking to be online. 4 stacks on the Dark Seal. Good stuff from him, but now Don Ponk's around, looking to get some value, but they've got the fleeting current on Scuffed to get him to run away, but now Shackle in danger. Gets over the wall. Can they look for more? Can't quite get in range to get on top of the Wukong, who gets out to safety, but it does mean, because of the HP and the fact they went for that trade in mid lane, I think Lightside might think about this Dragon.
Yeah, no Cyclone available too for Shackle, so... the Dragon fight could go towards the side of the Leona composition. Sivir can always move around through that tri-bush as well, so Chaos not gonna contest, and it's gonna be 2 grubs, as well as the first Dragon towards LLS right here.
So trade out that mid lane play, and of course that death onto Nicolex, who nearly got the 1v1 with a level 6 spike, but didn't quite. For the double early objectives. I suppose for Chaos, at the very least, they've now got someone with a lead, which was hard to come by last game. You've already got the Blackfire Torch. Needlework thrown. How aggressive do they want to play this? Vayu has got a Hextech Alternator and a Dream. The snap
feast.
Rupture and just gets the kill. Oh wait, Don Pok on the other side misses the Zenith Blade. About to die down here as Shackle gets on top of Golden Penny, but a kill picked up by Rhea in the bot side. A little bit more even this game.
Oh, a win up top side for LLS, and a loss down in a bot side for LLS, so a win down in bot side for Chaos. I mean, what is, again, volatility all around the map right here. We're going to see a Varus ulti come down to 1 shot with those Blight stacks onto Don Ponk. Last auto ticks, and Shackle can't quite find a play as well as we come back to live, and bot lane is just a wave cliff fest. I think, okay, back to calmness for now. I mean, Nicolex does have the ultimate, Nicolex rather. He could look mid lane with that ball as they fish.
They're thinking about the Knockwave combo. No flash on the side of Scuff. Gonna get eating so much damage. There's the fear. Chased back out from under the tower because Nicolex got behind him. Nice little bit of micro movement and gets the kill.
An excellent play, and they really need these to work out because Nicolex, I think he misbought. He picked up a tunneler by accident before the fade, so he's delaying his Triforce by a bit. And I think maybe he's tunneling on the fact that he played Jarvan last game and bought a Sundered Sky. As a gank comes down onto Sam, so can he survive this? He has the E.
Gonna get knocked up there. There's still a feast available. Reminder, this is the AP. Cho'Gath, that feast will hit a lot harder. Try to get low enough, and they do. Shut down towards Vayu.
Yeah, the feast is just too much damage, and the chain CC onto Samsung without the flash is going to be a fantastic kill. That kill is really painful there for the Gwen, because now they can hit topside turret, or rather get the crash in, whilst Nocturne has to cover and catch the wave, and Samsung is going to miss out on some crucial experience and CS. A good gank with that Cyclone, and it feels like both junglers, Nicolex and Shackle, are having great impact around the map, using their ultimates off cooldown, as we see an invade towards Shackle over here on that pink ward.
See what happens with this. Should be okay. Gets away with it. What's happening mid lane? No Orianna. Gonna go towards the other side of the map.
No Cyclone.
Come on out. There is the Severing Bolt. There is no Cyclone. Nasty chunk there. It's the Luden's Companion build on the Ori, not a Seraph's or a Roa build or anything like that. So definitely a lot more upfront burst.
Initialize. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because you watch a bunch of LPL, and we see a lot of discourse on builds right now when it comes to AP major items. Are you a fan of bruiser items on AP? I am. All right, just a disclaimer, I am. Because like when you're facing loads of burst and dive compositions, the HP can really save you. So what do you think?
I really like it, and like Victor in particular, if you're in a battle mage game, so you just need to survive and just keep in a fight, love it. If you need to stay, I'm playing at range and just blow someone up in one rotation, then less so. But I definitely think it's got value, it's got good placement. I think we've seen some really good battle mage Victor games and those kind of Roa games. Xiaohu's done some great ones, for example. So I'm there with you, just not every game, and it does need to make sense where it's like, okay, I need to stand here and be a pseudo bruiser.
I'm bronze, my bad. It was actually Hexplate. Look, I've got to be honest, I never see Hexplate.
I didn't want to call you out on it.
No.
It's Nocturne.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I almost always see Stridebreaker, so like, it is what it is.
That's true.
My bad. As we see a dive on the top side.
Could look for it. Gonna get the fear off. Gonna get that one down. Gets out from under the turret. Can't quite secure the kill. Needlework comes on down. We'll have another charge available. So the Cho'Gath left low but not down. Going to give an opportunity for Shackle to potentially go onto this Gromp, but LLS don't want to give that one over for free. Solar Flare burn for that. And now Donpong kind of quite deep. Will shield bash and flash away. A little bit over-eager there from the support of LLS.
Yeah, finding the Grump as well on this invade, as Golden Penny's really struggling to farm under tower, and Raya is going to be able to pick up this plating. So with this double range lane, usually you want to get quite a bit of a lead. You know, with this perma pushing, and whilst you have Sums being kind of unpunishable, you really want to be pushing them under the tower. Golden Penny and Donpunk under the tower, and hitting that tower off cooldown to secure some kind of minuscule lead in terms of CS and platings. As Nicolex on the other side, look for an invade, but he is going to be able to take a blast cone on out of there, as he takes probably the Scuttle Crab as an exit objective.
Yeah, he did. He picked up the Gromp as well. Now Shackle actually needs to be really wary. Walking into this, he just had his sweeper timeout. Missed time on that one. Is now fleeing as he's on top of a Duskbringer. Gonna go down to the last clockwork. Wind up bot side. Damage onto Ray. He's gonna try and get the reset. Can't do it. Go on, but he can now keep looking Snilla with no mana and no damage. I think this Sivir rather can keep hunting for more. The Leona already down. Snilla has to flash out of the Boomerang Blade. Ends up being a 1-for-1 under that turret.
Yeah, a 1-for-1 with so much invested by both sides. Raya coming out with the only flash up down in bot side after everything is invested. So, Clan's available Golden Penny, but out the back of that, you really are favoring the Sivir side of things, as Sivir was left available to be able to farm the wave afterwards. Engaged misses here, crucially. Zenith Blade doesn't land on Raya, but look at his burst coming down onto the Leona. And crucially, a Q was used, so there was no execute right here from a Q onto Golden Penny's light stacks. And that leaves Golden Penny available post to be able to farm the wave.
Yeah, no E, no Q. Just managed to get that one down, and now it's 2-0-1. It's still a minor gold lead to the Varus, but Varus Renata being only up 100 gold. Not what you want to see, whereas at the other side, this Nocturne, Nicolex, again, the coach who subbed in is up 1,000 gold. He's got the Hex plate early. You've gotten Bizguard relatively ahead, despite, of course, Scuff getting a couple kills himself. The Gwen, who is the carry scaling top laner who's been nerfed in the early game, is also up in gold, level 11. Like, Lightside, I think, on the whole, are pretty happy with this game state.
Yeah, and Dragon coming up soon. I think most important thing is looking at items across the board, and every single player in this game has completed items, but the difference is tier 2 boots are completed for LLS, so having a bit more combat power here, especially with the tenacity coming in from the Merc Treads, could be impactful, as a bunch of CC is in Hui and Varus' kit, but Donpunk, he takes a lot of damage there. He's going to have to reset and come back on the map, and in the meantime, Chaos can take control in terms of vision if they want to.
I enjoy saying Don Ponk. It's quite a satisfying name to say. It's quite
I have to
whimsical.
hold
It's
my
so whimsical.
tongue because I keep thinking I'm going to say Don Jake. You know, like, have we seen Don Jake versus Don Ponk yet?
I don't think we have. Hang on. We have not also seen the knockwave combo. They mistimed that.
Yeah.
Didn't get the pull back onto the Hui, who flashed on out. Got a little bit awkward there. All the while, though, Samson against Vayu, who's got no mana, throws out the needlework, eats a lot of damage from the Rocket Belt Cho'Gath.
I mean, you could see the potential of the AP Cho'Gath with the base damage and the scaling as well. As we see a trade coming in, so Chaos going to secure their first dragon of the game, and LLS are going to secure their Rift Herald, which they can then convert into towers, as well as potentially the next dragon. You want to hear another take I have? I think I feel like people tunnel on the usage of Rift Herald to place it before dragon and then get that dragon, right? That's a pretty common macro move.
Yeah.
I feel like you can save Rift Herald for a fight and then just run people over with it.
Battle Herald it. Yeah, genuinely Battle Herald.
I think that, honestly, is my favorite usage of Herald. As we see it, this is not my favorite usage of Herald, I've got to be honest.
They get a TP out of it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. But with so much time to be able to hold on to the Herald, I feel like you can hold on to maybe something, a better opportunity. Still, a lot of damage and maybe a tower prep for Samsung to take as well.
Raya just had to flash on the bot side. The hostile takeover sucked from Sniller. Went in absolutely the wrong direction.
Nice reference.
And
That's
they
a
end
good
up down that ultimate. I try. Kobe out there, the goat. Look for the handshake, can't quite find it. And LLS come away with some extra summoners to their name.
Yeah, it's a good play. I mean, everything's going to go back to farming, I do believe. I mean, once Nicolex's ult is up, it is up. I mean, here it comes.
Oh, Hexplate allows him to just come straight back off cooldown. Can't quite get the kill, but Scuffed is left slow. But now Nicolex in danger. Flashes away from the Severing Bolt. Can't run far enough away. Shackle gets over the wall. He was on Raptors and waiting for the overdive.
Yeah, the Nocturne ulti into mid lane doesn't quite get enough as Scuffed makes it down under tower. I'm not sure how Riot died down in bot side, and I don't envy being an observer this game because it's just nonsense. It must be incredibly hard work. As we see the replay, okay, so what happens here exactly? Don Pong, does he just land an ult?
I think
no, he just walks at him
menacingly. Yeah,
flashes.
that's it.
So that's a kill. As Samsung and Vayu, they're going to have a 1v1 right here. I think Samsung wins out.
Yeah, he does. There's going to be a lot of damage forces to flash needlework, and he gets the solo. And remember that tower they prepped earlier? Yeah, it's going down now.
Yeah, there it is. There's the vision that LLS had. Samsung's so much stronger at this stage, and with the Leona behind him, looks like it'll be a kill as the cross map for Chaos onto Bisgard is going to be foiled by Bisgard, being suspicious of something, managed to find a chunk onto the Wukong, and that's going to be Wukong having to go back to Omnivamp of camps or just take a straight up reset. Yeah, so no play on the opposite side of the map, whilst LLS secure the first tower of the game.
Alternator proc, Luden's proc, QW.
That's pain.
That one's going to sting. Yeah, that one stuck. Stiller also enjoying the suck right now as he gets hit by the Solar Flare. This one is really not great fun. In comes Nocturne. Off cooldown again. Won't quite find it. Bailout burn. Can't hit the Boomerang Blade. I appreciate the fact that Nicolex is very unshy to start off these fights, or at least press the R button. It's on a short cooldown, but not found that much success over the last couple ones. Blue buff, still being fought over. Shackle needs to be a little wary here. Vayu now looking for the rupture, flashes out of it, flashed away from Shackle. What about Nicholas? Can he find a Dustbringer? Fear's about to go on down on top of his unspeakable horror from Vayu as he gets so much damage down, and Nicolex picks that kill up. Nice invade from Lightside.
Vayu, he tries to save Shackle, and he does, but at the cost of his own life, as Samson flashes away from the Feral Scream so that he doesn't get chain CC'd and die off of the back of that. And again, I mean, it just feels like Chaos, they're falling apart right now, getting picked off in multiple lanes, losing the camps up topside, while Samsung gets a hit tier 2 tower as well. And if we manage to secure this with the 2 grubs that they have, that's a ton of gold into Samsung's pocket. I'm terrified because joining a team fight and playing side lane with a Nash's Tooth on Gwen, that's kind of unlaneable for the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, she's got 2 grubs now as well, right? Like, she'll have a much easier time as Bisgard. Maybe they'll try and find a chunk on a Scuff. Shockwave after. There's 2/3 of the HP bar down. That's a very normal Orianna thing to do at this point of the game. Ow!
Yeah, from the bush. Nice little bit of cheese from Bisgard as well. Specifically, very proactive. And this is a player that I feel like a lot of analysts and people hype up in general. I think when I watch Bisgard, the eye test, you know how people say like this kind of like obscure eye test where the mechanics, you just track the mechanics, how to play fights. He really does pass the eye test quite well on his champions. The Orianna, no exception. I really like watching how he plays fights and uses cooldowns. And this game, showcasing the Orianna as he completes 2 items. That next Nocturne Orianna Shockwave combo is going to be a little bit nutty as Don Ponk.
Yeah, that's going to be... Yeah, nice idea. The Rupture comes on force, but now Samson with 2 items and some Feat of Strength Empowered Merc Treads could cause a lot of chaos. Atakan's around. Gwen goes immune with the Hallowed Mist. No one's buried in it yet. Scuff looking to find some damage with the Molten Fissure. Donponk in danger, gets the backline. Nocturne pressing the R. The Paranoid of the backline. Get the bailout on down, but I don't think it's enough to keep them alive. Trying to get Raya down. We'll get something there. It's a 1-for-1 as it stands. Sorry, make that 2-for-1 as they lost Vayu as well. That's where the bailout came from.
All the damage!
Burns out from the Blackfire Torch. Samson trading out with Shackle, who's likely to go down. The clone is the one that eats it. Snip, not quite up to close shave. But Samson with his mighty long hair. It's a hairdresser's champion. And Samson gets the kill on the Wukong.
What?
Biscard
is what we're doing.
Blows up. He's trying his best. Donponk can maybe come on over, but the problem is Scuffed will finally force the flash. It is in the end a 4-for-2 in favor of Lightside. Eragon, 2 fights in 1. Try and break it down.
I feel like most of the kills happened after the fight was over. So Atakan is the 11th member of this fight, where you see Donponk diving in the bot side, and what I really watched was down in bot side, where it didn't look great for LLS as Raya gets the reset and almost picks up Donponk right there, which would have been really massive, but Nocturne gets executed here by the Severing Bolt, which does so much damage. That's got to be 500. And top lane, Wukong's always going to lose this to the Gwen. The Gwen just does too much damage at this stage. Is way too accelerated, as Samsung's going to get a nice E reset with an auto attack onto the Krugs right here to get the dash. So well played to Samsung. Nice execution of the mechanics and utilization of a really accelerated Gwen.
Yeah, so, Eragon, you're notoriously a top lane main, right? 2.3k advantage to Gwen. What do you do as Cho'Gath here?
So, generally, the plan for Cho anyway, whilst even, is to hold your tower and try to play for decent trades and suffer. Whilst 2.3k behind, probably going to join in with the rest of your team and losing.
Yeah, oh my days. Nicolai's going to have the Starax pop practices away, but the rest of it's getting a bit interesting. They're going to keep jumping onto the Nocturne, who's dead, and now Atakan available with no smite potentially. Remember, Samson not here, has teleport yet to join. Chaos are going to start at this Atakan, guaranteed.
Yeah, they have Feast as well as on-hit Varus, so they can burn this down and secure it with that smite if they want to. They don't, the side of LLS don't have Spellbook, so there's no funky smite steal that can come out.
Snilla going to look for the hostile takeover. Does get Biscard, not too much more, but that will be Atakan down. No fight kills afterwards. All the while, the tier 2 in bot side likely going the way of Samson. They'll get the tier 1 in mid lane, so they are at least trading up pretty nastily. As tried to get an angle on in there, but Donponk gets the shield bash as Vayu shield bash, or rocket belts forwards, handshake back, damage onto Vayu. As Biscard says, you're not a tank on this build at Cho'Gath. You can't afford to do that. And they managed to hold 3 people in lane for a while the inhibitor turret was being threatened.
And now, Sam, I really want to hype up Chaos and say, let's go. They got the Atakan. That buff is going to be really, really massive on their first kill. They get the AoE slow and a bunch of XP. But I'm looking at the fact that Gwen just killed another tier 2 tower, and that's another 700 gold. And my Gwen is being accelerated to a 3rd item. As Shackle...
Hang on, gonna get the root on after. In comes the Paranoia, trying to get the kill onto Shackle and will do so. He gets bailed out briefly, but can get nowhere near this fight. Snilla likely to get taken out by the ricochets and does so as well. 2 more kills to Lightside.
2 more kills to Lightside. And what's the cross-map play here for Chaos? As Samsung, he can definitely hold this 1 versus 2. No auto attack's gonna come in from Chaos onto that tower as he wave clears. And you're in this awkward position now as LLS because you've got no towers to take. You're so far ahead in the objective game that you're suffering from success. You have no lane to play through to secure anything. It's going to have to be camps taken until Dragon spawns. So the side of LLS, very simple game plan here. Get as far ahead as you can. Utilize and get the 3rd item onto this Gwen as soon as possible, because Gwen, as a champion, is a complete demon in these team fights. Once you get to level 16, especially with that rank 3 ultimate, I could see Samsung. Oh, there it is. He's just ticked. He's level 16, and that's going to be, I think, a Shadow Flame in base.
Wow. Yeah, it is. This Gwen is going to hit like a truck. And it's such a squishy team on the other side. The Cho'Gath, it's not a tank Cho'Gath. It's going to be really deceptively weak to things like the Shadow Flame. Double Shadow Flame. You got 10 stacks on Biscard's Dark Seal. That's, I think 10 stacks on Dark Seal is 700 extra gold's worth of stats. So it's actually up 800 gold, not only 100, at least in terms of raw numbers. Like, this is a tricky place to be in as Chaos. And Lightside switch out 3 members effectively coming into this playoffs. They've switched out top laners. They switched out Nicolex and Donponk in the last week of regular season as well. Like, this team had to change so much to find a damn win, and now they have been dismantling Chaos 2 games in a row. At least this one felt a little closer in the mid game, but once it's gone wrong, it's gone really wrong for Chaos again.
Yeah, and the strange thing is they're subbing in pieces that feel like similar to their old pieces. It's still managing to find the win. Clearly something has clicked for them, beating out Chaos right here, who largely was expected to beat out on LLS. It wasn't an uncommon opinion. So, Shackle, I think LLS is fine here.
Yeah, they are.
That's
God,
Nash.
he ain't
They can start it
tacky.
up. How did the Wukong, how does Shackle end up here as Samsung's also going to tear apart Chaos's team?
He's TPing in.
Can Vayu cancel this TP?
No, he's not going to find him in time. Maybe a Feral Screaming Eruption could have done it, but I don't know what the cooldowns are at. Dompong buying so much time on the other side. Remember, no smite means this Baron is dead to rights. Light side going to be forcing a little bit of a Life of Brian reference or two on the other side of the backline. They go! Trying to find the angle. The fear comes on down. 2 people desperately low. The needles are coming on through. It's the most dangerous acupuncture session Chaos have ever experienced. And Gwen introduces them to the painful points of that one. 5-1 and 5 now, 5k ahead. Individually, this game, Aragon, it's done again.
It's completely done. That's Baron Nashor buff to a stomping side lane. I think LLS here, they could play 1-1, they could play 4-1. No matter what's happening, it's going to be an inhib at least for LLS after this play. I'm not sure how Shackle ended up on the Wukong right here up top side. He must have been looking for a flank or a pick onto someone there, potentially onto Golden Penny as he thought he was alone, but couldn't quite find it. And not only were you looking at an inhib with this accelerated Severe on 3 items, which is just an insane spike for the Severe.
Yeah.
You're also looking at the soul point for LLS as well.
Yeah, and all that extra tenacity feels pretty good when you're into Chains of Corruption, when you're into Fears and Renatus and all those kinds of things. You get some shielding power for the Orianna and all of that kind of stuff as well. It's just not easy. Even the healing power for the Gwen is going to be very obnoxious. At this point, Chaos, I don't know what you do to get back into this. Maybe just find someone out of position and just have to look for picks, have to look for bounties, because standard play isn't going to do it anymore.
There it comes. The shockwave.
Not pulled this time. Paranoia again. Been very judiciously used, just thrown out all the time. Now they're going to go for the engage of the Dompog, but that's the Leona, who's not going to be the easiest to bring down. We'll get some value down all the while. Sam's already picked up the tier 3 in bot side.
Oh, look at the
Dompog
ricochets.
flashes out and Chaos can't find anything. And now Samson on the flank, the blast going into the backside. Trying to get a feast angle, Silver and value low. And they both fall down. Hostile takeover comes across, buys some time. The spiraling to spare onto Lickalex. Only gets his Sterax. Narea is dead. The AD carry ain't doing any carrying, but of his own coffin. Fear onto Dompong, Scuffed, going to have to try that. Will kill off the Leona, but Nicolex is just trying to stop the recalls because the game is damn well ending.
Bizgard and Golden Penny have called for a potential game end right here. They could just keep hitting the towers as Wukong. Shackle has to try his best. The Gwen does too much damage to towers. I think that's game.
I think it is. Lightside on the verge of relegations. Could not win a game in summer. Now on series points. Chaos. What on earth do you do now? 2 stomps in a row.
Whatever. It's just a seemingly random end as well there for LLS as they blow up the Nexus. I mean, I thought things were, this siege with the Nash was going a bit hectic because I'm not sure what happened to Orianna's ult. They called for the Nocturne ult. They didn't have the Orianna Shockwave. And it just looked like a bit of a mess, like I said. Still, it doesn't matter. They find the win. They find game 2. And now it looks like they might not be going to relegations, Initialize.
And look, Aragon, I hate to say it, but you might have predicted right.
I might have not predicted right enough.
That.
I said 3-1. It might be a 3-0.
Before he gets any more, Smug Desk, take it away.
Welcome back!
I was like, listen to you guys have the conversations. Like, you guys know we're about to come back to us, right? Like,
100%.
We have to do the professional part of our jobs.
Okay, but the funny part is we're talking about MSN and Skype, so
yeah,
we indulged in the past.
Boom, boom, boom. Whoop, whoop. So, with this in mind, though, 2-0 for LLS. They not only won a game, but now a match point to move forward to save themselves. It's on. It's on, but also, it's full chaos.
I want to apologize. I was not familiar with the game. And honestly, I really, truly think that ever since Nicolex joined the team, he's actually brought a more aggressive front to them. He's playing for these aggro plays. He's getting them ahead in the skirmishes. I mean, like, that dude's been out and about for such a long time. Wow. So I feel like the experience he brings in and the aggression really suits them.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. I think that aggression is also kind of being mirrored here by the PGB, the damage on kills specifically, because you can see almost everyone has more than half of their bar full when it comes to damage, right? On a kill. So that just kind of lets you know these guys weren't really hitting enemy champions unless it was resulting in picking up, basically money bags at that point for Lightside. And yeah, I feel like this Nocturne Orianna combo kind of just ended up working out, right? I do feel like there was a couple of mis-executions. Some of them went their way, and maybe the one I'm thinking of is in our replay package when we get around to it. But all in all, it feels like they kind of just kept the pace and the tempo up from game one, right? It was, hey, we more or less just stomped through them in game one. We ensured that there was basically no breathing room. They drafted the composition, yes, which scales really well. It was effectively 3 hyperscaling lanes too, but they pushed the envelope constantly. They made sure they always had first move. If they had an opportunity to overload numbers onto a side lane, they did it. And again, Chaos had no answer for any of these movements going on the map.
I agree 100%. And I'm gonna say it, Beersguard is looking clean. He's looking extremely clean, okay? I know there was the play trouble. There was a minion.
He walked up for 1 minion, which exposed him just enough, and Wukong was waiting in the bush, man, for him to walk up on that. He got it and then he died. But this is what I love about this series. Look, this is a level 1. Golden Penny was just going back to his tri-bush, which wasn't really his. And then Scylla and Rai were trying to chase to grab that first blood. And then Nicolex was around when Don Pong arrives. I mean, he's not called Don for no reason, right? He's the boss of the Rift. He got that first blood and then snowballed the entire game.
I don't know, man. Don Jake's called Don Jake, and he's certainly not been bossing around any rifts in his games. But
Lord.
I do agree. I feel like throughout a lot of this game, the Leona had just kind of complete freedom to dive into backlines, or I guess at times it was like tanking the Cho'Gath are, right? But that would be that Cho'Gath isn't eating anyone else on the team, and that's a pretty important cooldown to end up blowing from the enemy team. And yeah, at this point, obviously Lightside are just super far ahead. It felt as though, again, much like how in game 1, Chaos didn't have an answer for the Jarvan constantly diving in 24/7. This game, they didn't have an answer for the Nocturne Orianna. They didn't have an answer for the Gwen either on the side lane, and that's why, to me, I felt like the Cho'Gath blind was bold, to say the least, because now it's like, hey, you're running agency technically out of bottom mid, but if you don't push the envelope, you don't get snowballs going, then you just get outscaled into 1-to-1.
I just want to give mega props to Samson. He literally joined the team for this best of. There's no practice, there's none of that. I know that they have some history playing together with Nicolex, but that was way back when. And I feel like today he's had Value's number on both of these. Like on the Sion, really great macro and map understanding. Then his lane getting 5 tower platings on the Sion, 18 minutes in, 2 items, full armor and MR. It was just so difficult to bring him down. And right here with a couple of solo kills as well, over on the top side of the map, onto Value as well. Now, this is where I'm starting to say, screw what's good, play comfort on the side of Chaos. I want to see the Poppy come back out for Value, because we've seen him solo kill Baus. We've seen him solo kill other top laners in the league as well. He really needs to show up in this matchup.
I agree with you. We were building up the show and we were talking about, who do we talk about? Yeah, top lane. And then there's
Lion
a subbing. What do? We don't know what Samson is about to do. Well, he's about to destroy the top lane. That's what he's about to do. What Vayu is the strong point of Chaos. So can he bring it back? I have no idea. But we will be back after the break for game 3. By the way, match point. Last time we won 5 games. The 11 hours of broadcast. I'm confused. Take it away. Welcome back to the game. This is it. Light side so close to win. Chaos, you have a shot to do a reverse sweep. Make it interesting. So Desk, Jamada, Trouble Link, I'm gonna bring in the question. How can Chaos come back from this? And also, chat, how do you think Chaos can come back from this? And I'll take a peek. Okay, don't flame. Desk. That was for you, by the way.
I
Desk.
mean, I feel like at this point it's been 2 storms, right? Like heavy storms, and they've been mostly on the mechanical end. I feel like normally the pathing would be, hey, all right, let's draft slow and just try to basically play a comp where we're on comfort and we don't really have to do much interacting. We can maybe even give up the first dragon, not really heavily contest scrubs, that kind of composition. The issue for me is that they half had that comp in game 1, Chaos, right? With the Maokai and the Yone. That's a comp where you're happy to wait till at the very least 1 IM to really start getting things going. And they still fought to the death from minute 1, and they got out-skirmished anyway. So, frankly, I'm unsure where Chaos can go at this point if they're just going to run headfirst into the same wall over and over and over again.
First of all, I like the fact that they've chosen the red side right here, and I want counter picks. I want them to actually play aggro. I want them to be able to get agency through their individual lanes, because that's something we haven't necessarily seen. And through that, you also sort of free Shackle as well to make a little bit more aggro plays onto Nicolex. I feel like Nicolex has been, in a one-sided manner, demolishing this matchup versus Shackle. And as the Aurora gets first pick right here, I'm wondering what kind of response Scuffed could potentially have into this. If they want to, they can very easily go towards like a Vi Ari kind of composition if they really want to, and play for more of those aggro pick oriented skirmishes.
Just want to highlight Talia's still up as well. Like, just
somehow
hasn't been picked, hasn't been banned.
Hell yeah. Finally!
Poppy on the side of Chaos. We'll see whether or not it ends up in Varyu's hands or Shakal's. The expectation is that it will be in Varyu's, but of course it is still very much a flex pick. What's going to go alongside this though, right? AD carry, support, mid lane match, right? There are options aplenty here for Chaos, and it's going to end up being this Kai'Sa blind, so a little bit risky. I wonder if Golden Penny, I mean, Tristana is what Raya played into the Kai'Sa before. You could, oh yeah, it's banned. So I mean, maybe you go like the old school counter of like Xayah, Kai'Sa dives in, you use the Feather Storm, pull the feathers back in, which then also just kind of means a Rakan is a pretty easy layup. Even if there's like the small chance that Poppy ends up in the support role, composition that you can still draft around it and have, you know, a good rest of the top side setup with this Rakan, even if that Poppy matchup might end up being a little bit rough if it's flexed out.
There you go. Lean.
You know what? I will put all of my certificates on the line to just say that this Poppy is not moving from where it is right now. Vayu picked it. It's not going anywhere else at all. I don't think I have seen Chaos really sort of shuffle it around much, but I know that he is one of his best champions right next to Teemo, right? That's been permabanned this whole time. I do like this from Chaos. They're playing a little bit more aggro over the bottom of the map. They've got the Rel for the engage. Really hard to catch Rakan that easily over on the bottom of the map, but overall in like skirmishes and fights, it really does enable things like the Kai'Sa to get into the back and potentially get an assassination through. Now I'm wondering how, see, this is where I get lost, because sometimes I'm like, hey, they're playing full dive, that's fantastic, Vi banned suddenly on their side. And this was the same thing with LLS last picks and bans with the Ornn ban. So I'm wondering, if you're banning the Vi right here, what kind of route are you going for on your junglers? Are you looking for a Xin protection potentially?
It's one of the last ones available for that sort of idea. Yeah, Jamada.
I also feel like there's a fair amount of value here in Trundle for Shakal, because when you look at what Lightside have, I feel like they want to have at least one frontliner. When you've got Rakan, when you've got Aurora, you're going to need someone diving in. So my expectation would be maybe some kind of ban towards that Trundle, that like a pick that does well into it. Xin Zhao's kind of an answer-ish. It's one of the few skirmishing junglers that can 1v1-ish the Trundle. But it's pretty difficult nonetheless. Victor's now going to join the ban bench too from Scuffed's end, so I'm curious, is this just going to end up being like a Trundle, even though you don't need to pick your jungle here, just for the sake of having it?
Right?
Yeah, I mean, you can just block mid. There's not really too many issues with it. I mean, Rise, Talia, those are the two things that are still, on my mind as the premier picks up and available. Galio obviously got picked earlier in the support role by Snilla, so that's not really an option. Ari can, I guess, work.
Okay.
Last second hot swap over to that Rise in the end.
Okay, that Ari hover really confusing because I'm like, if the Ari gets locked in, then the Vi ban doesn't make any sense,
Vishin's
right?
on, yeah.
Now, what's left for Nicolex? What's left for Nicolex to run in the jungle? Anything maybe like Viego, but
He can take the Trundle himself.
it's an aggro champ, but it doesn't really have a lot of agency in the early game, and you kind of need to set it up. Perfect Yamada, put it out there. Trundle, pretty good at fist fighting, forces skirmishes. You see mobile champion in the mid lane as well. Pilar does wonders. Wondering what it's gonna go towards the top side of the map. Rumble still up and available if they wanted just to go towards something
It's
like this.
pretty okay into Poppy as well. Poppy, like almost all of her trade patterns when she wants to go in, it's really easy to land those E's, but we get Yorick, which I think arguably might be a more painful matchup even for the Poppy in isolation. Does mean that they have a strong side lane option as well, so it is a little bit more of an out there pick in terms of it's away from the theme, I think, of this light side composition, but still is going to provide a lot of value on those side lanes and can collapse in. Now for Shakar, what is it, a fast tempo jungler into the Trundle? And it will be, it's said, lock in. I was going to say something like the Nidalee, something like the Kindred, maybe, right? It's kind of not something you'd see in game 3s often, but the Zed works wonderfully into the Trundle. We've seen it time and time again where it just really outpaces the early clear of what Trundle can put down. So it puts a lot of pressure from the Trundle end to get ganks off super quickly to try and impact the lanes before Zed can get a snowball rolling.
I feel like it's a pure all-in composition from the sort of chaos, and I do really like this. And again, if we're looking to fist fight and skirmish in the early to mid game, I feel like they've got a fantastic composition at that level 6. They can all go on all cylinders. However, from the sort of LLS, that mid-jungle duo looks very terrifying to me, and Nicolex has been playing a lot around his mid lane, so if they do get that flash off of Scuffed early on, that Rise might suffer.
It might be complicated, might be match point. I was looking at the chat and they believe you did bring that Wombo combo coming in from Dragon Power, or you might lose or pick the red side and see how it goes. Well, first step completed. Let's see if the chat was right. What about you folks? Yamato Trouble Link, is this it? Is this a clean sweep? A 3-0? Eragon was closer to the truth.
I feel like yes. I think that whenever I see Zed jungle and it's not in the hands of like a Tarzan or like some of the best junglers in the world, it just fails and it falls flat on its face. We saw it at least once here in the NLC, it didn't look great.
Trouble.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with LLS here as well.
Well, somehow Eragon almost got it right if it ends like that. So, hey, take one right, okay, Eragon? You got one. Good for you. Take it away, Initialize.
He's a salty man, isn't he, Archeron? He doesn't like it when he's wrong. And you clearly, by the looks of it right now, are looking pretty right because, let's be real, we've praised Lightside quite a lot for coming in, but the other side of this coin is Chaos. You're going into a team where the jungle, the support, the top lane have all switched within the last week. Samson came in for this series, and they are not just beating you, they are destroying you.
Yeah,
what is going on?
Not close. It's not close at all. With the new top laner and you're getting gap top lane, like so many roster moves, having the coach play in jungle, it's really impressive exactly what LLS is doing. And also, I've admired their drafts too. On the other hand, the draft on the other side with the Zed, that's ambitious. I think the Zed into the Trundle can be a great answer because you're so mobile into the Trundle, it's really hard to be stuck to. And you out clear speed very, very hard. But it's hard to pull off. I mean, I think quoting you, Initialize,
dangerous.
No. Only like Zed as a pick into Trundle, or generally when you can play it to the level of the mid laners can. I think that's what you said, right?
Basically. Yeah, if you can't play it like a mid laner or to the level of a mid laner, don't bother. And I mean, Jamada just said it on that desk well. Unless you are a Tarzan, one of the best junglers in the world, we see it get messed up so badly all the time because I feel like we often see in the jungle in particular, people misuse the shadow, use it for clear speed, and then don't have it to escape. And if you don't have the shadow on the Zed, it can feel really miserable. Onto the Rift we go. For what could be the final time today. Chaos, Shackle on the carry Zed. He needs to make it work. Chaos need to show us something better. Or Lightside, with effectively 3 subs in the last week or so, might just 3-0 them.
Yeah. Might just 3-0 them. They're definitely on the verge to it. And I think they're definitely set up for success with these picks. Trundle, so overpowered in general. I think it's legitimately one of the best champions of the game. The abilities to play with the CC in the pillar that was buffed. I think it's just incredible as we see a level 1 from LLS predicting a potential invade and maybe looking to bait with Nicolex, but Chaos, they're not going to fall for it. Snow's not going to walk forward and try and punish.
Last game. Reminder again, Golden Penny ended up face checking so much damage last game and still somehow got away with the better level 1. This time, Lightside are the ones making the proactive move. It's around this blue buff again. Seems to be the point of a lot of early action. Just a ward going on down. Zed will do the same on the other side. Seems to be a potential ping out on that one, saying he is probably over there. See exactly what Shackle decides to do. Is he going to stick around and try and split this map?
Yeah, you're really trying to punish the Zed level 1 right now, because Zed's level 1 is kind of useless, and you have Trundle, who has some of the best
So
all-ins in the game, with the Xayah Rakan enabling it. So it looks like it's going to be some kind of map split right now, which guarantees the Xayah Rakan scaling. We'll have to see what Nicolex does after this. Maybe he crosses back into his topside quadrant to help deny, and looks like Shackle's going to go for the blue buff and then maybe head back to his top side. I really do wonder what's going to happen with this map split. I think looking for ganks down in bot side and not allowing for Raya and Snilla to breathe is the name of the game here for LLS.
Yeah, I completely agree. And again, for Lightside, if you can get to mid-game with an Aurora, with a Trundle, with a Rakan on top of that, with your Yorick split push win condition, I remember you groaning when you realized it was going to be a Poppy switched, flexed into topside. It's a miserable matchup.
I did groan. I mean, tanks just aren't that good into Yorick, with the exception of Scion. It just really, really isn't that great, because you're going to get drain tanked. Your base damages really aren't going to stick after a while, and Yorick is going to become a side lane threat that you can't really deal with. So they're going to have to put, for example, Rise and threaten with the globals onto the Yorick as well. Really don't like the use of the R5, but it does secure them a good jungle matchup. So realistically, all the eggs are in the basket of Chaos right now, with Shackle on that Zed. And utilizing the fast clear here, something we see pretty often, Sam, I'm sure you've seen as well, is the Zed will full clear so fast because the passive proc has no cooldown on camps, and then they'll take a recall by double longsword and then be on map for the crab with double longsword.
With double longsword.
It's just ridiculous. However, there was a weird invade situation, so we'll see how it's navigated. It is 2:55 still, so Scuttle in 30 seconds time. It looks like the Zed's going to go for a recall Shackle. Let's see if he picks up a double longsword and go fight that crab, and maybe we'll see a big fight win onto the Trundle, because Zed with the double longsword definitely does win in terms of the 1v1.
Okay, decides to go towards the control ward instead, I think because he's down a camp, so to speak, didn't take the wolves on the other side, probably didn't quite have enough gold, but still, longsword plus control ward, still pretty good. Don Pont goes in on the other side of Snilla, misses the crash down. Always a bit of an interactive matchup, the Rakan Rel, but so far not that much to be found. See exactly where Zed decides to go. He's going to be around this bot side and trying to nab that crab away. Can't find a fight with the Trundle as it stands, but we'll pick that one up. You'll also, if you are not a Zed jungle enjoyer, viewers back home, of a skirmish bot side, but not too much as yet. You often see Zed's smite early to get the passive active early, but enough musing on Zed. He'll burn by Don Pong, because they are going to go all in here, trying to find the engage onto Golden Penny, who's going to be low, has got the barrier, stays alive.
Flash!
They get the kill! Nice work there as Rhea picks that one up topside, though. They return the favour.
And it just feels like this is exactly what the series is, Sam. It's trades in top side and in bot side, and it feels like the opposite team wins every single time, as a dive might come out to Don Punk here. He does have flash, but I don't think there's outplaying this with Shackle being so strong.
Yeah, Shackle's going to walk on over. He's got red buff on the longsword. He's still got the shadow and ensures the slice comes on through. Unfortunately, Snilla's the one that picks it up, but still, second kill secured. Chaos complete the dive.
Yeah, but that's still a really big lead. And with Golden Penny dying and missing waves, Raya is more set up for success here. This map split and the ganks down in bot side after getting that longsword into the crab, into the bot gank, which catches people off guard, was super, super good. But you can see a lane swap initiated now. They want to get Vayu out of this matchup up top side, and they have Poppy 1v2ing down bot side. I think their opinion right now and what the perception is of the lane states is that Poppy can probably 1v2 the bot lane a little bit better than Samson can on this Yorick. And he definitely doesn't want to be in the 1v1 matchup of the Poppy versus Yorick. So that's exactly what the game plan of Chaos is. And I wonder now, for the side of LLS, what's the decision? Right? What's your adaptation? Do you match and then potentially play for the grubs in 2.5 minutes' time? I think that would be best to keep the positive lane state for Samson.
He's got a lot of graves to work with here, so Ray will need to be a little bit wary stepping up too far. He doesn't have the flash, so if he gets hit by that morning mist, that happens, and it's a bit miserable. We'll get to supercharge away. Snilla now coming on down, but those ghouls aren't leaving anytime soon. Fortunately, the turrets will help with that. He's about to face check Snilla there, puts a ward down, and unfortunately for Rel, doesn't have the very fast attack speed. Still managed to clear the ward. I thought might just run out of time there.
Yeah. Samson not really happy now. The wave state is pretty bad for the Yorick here.
Yeah.
It's frozen up topside, so walking up and soaking XP could be problematic as Vayu, he's going to be happy farming this in the tower. He's not happy with the bullying, but getting the CS is a major improvement compared to what Samson is dealing with right now. Now, what I would like to see is Samson potentially TPing down to bot side or walking bot to catch a wave and be in a better situation in terms of late state, as we see.
That's exactly what he's doing.
As we see Zaire Khan walk up topside to swap for these grubs, and that's a dragon for LLS as well. So dragon stacking WinCon with this early game Trundle going well.
Yeah, seems to be. Again, gets that dragon early. You can do that on Trundle. You are just very good at doing. I'm sure you know, because I know you've been doing your jungle challenges on
I love Trundle.
Left the Lee Sin behind. Who needs hands when you can just bonk people?
The crazy thing about Trundle right now is just the pillar is... I feel like the pillar is the best ability in the game in terms of regular abilities. It's so ridiculous. As we see a gank into mid lane, I think that was a flash from Bizgard.
All the while, Ray on the other side takes a lot of damage. You're right, there's the Between Worlds. Looks like a lot of damage comes on down. Sculptor's actually a data because Nikolai just boxed
the autos! That was a PTA proc. That hurts. He bats him around the head with that club. And it's not going to convert into any grubs. It's still in a minute's time. But that was a counter gank there by Nicolex to find a kill onto Scuffed. And the execute damage from Bizgard is going to help too. So a positive play for LLS. As the feather pullback could come out. Yeah. But good movement from Snilla.
Does do so. It's been a little bit more ironic saying it's 4 kills in 7 minutes. It's still probably the quietest game we've had so far.
Trundle has ulti.
How much longer Nicolex? He does indeed. He's got the subjugate to work with. Snilla needs to be wary. Could have all his stats stolen away from him and has done so. They get the feat of warfare there, courtesy of that kill. Scuffed has realm warped up here, but I don't know to what end.
Oh, Golden Penny! Golden Penny! He took tower!
No! He gets the barrier, survives the buckler shot. Now Vayu potentially a danger. Where are you running to? They've got the first domain trying to get the knockup. Does so. He keeps fighting. The knockup comes on through. They're going to kill off the Poppy. Pillar!
Oh, don't
it's just the best ability in the game. They're going to get to run away. Nicolex needs to be really afraid as the overloads begin to fly. It smells for Essence Flux comes on.
Don't punk!
He's run away. Oh my god, he's going to try and hit the dive. He gets away with it. Psychopathy occurs. We take a brief pause. Bizgard's going to be here. Scuffed is thinking about this. Doesn't have the flash, but has got a wave to work with. Bizgard threatening. Goes across the veil and the action finally stops. Again, I feel the circus music rising within my soul.
So, I mean, okay, so the big issue there was Golden Penny had Tower Girl somehow. He must have hit a feather and an AoE somehow to proc tower. But overall, the play was really smart and intelligent from LLS. They dive and make it quick because they know Rise ult is coming, so it has to be fast. And they tried to back out here, but I think it was Golden Penny biting up more than he could chew, but take a look at this. Once again, it feels like Samson is going to be incredibly accelerated. Flashbacks to that Scion game in game 1. He's going to be so incredibly accelerated. That's going to be at least components for Triforce completed now with those 4 platings down in bot side. And he's going to be incredibly happy as Vayu tries to make a play up top.
He teleports top and basically just gives Samson, what, 2 waves bot lane? Like, it's brutal stuff. Gonna reset
and 4
now,
plates.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, and 4 plates. Like, it doesn't get much better for a Yorick ever. And he's about to be donated grubs as well.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about this split push WinCon going forward, and that bot lane tower looks like first blood tower, but it looks like Chaos, they want to fight this. They're TPing in with Rise. Maybe they can secure one, but they're TPing in here for nothing, it feels like. Maybe Shackle can prove me wrong.
Not gonna happen. Nicolex gets away. And again, remember, Trundle passive. All those little grublings, those void mites dying. Just keep healing Trundle up, so he doesn't give a damn about tanking up the grubs. Vayu eats a lot of damage on the other side. Nicolex might now be in danger. Does have the flash. Maybe forced to burn it. Has the frozen domain. Flashes away from the Ferromancy crash down. Pillar into the weirding comes on through. Now between worlds, they're gonna get on top of someone like Shackle, who is desperately low, but overcomes the rest of light side. No death mark available. The Shackle needs to leave. Shadow's out. Just about survives and won't die, but they still lose out on the rel. Snilla is picked up by the side of light side.
Nice turnaround once again from LLS. I mean, the execute damage is almost there onto Shackle, and the pillar, you saw the value of the pillar into the long chase and the slow play on the side of LLS, chasing them down with the Qs and the E on the Aurora. Looks like we get into a bit of a pause.
Does look so. We'll find out more, and when we do know more, we'll tell you exactly what's going on, but we do get a quick break here as a result. Just making jokes about how it was being a slower game, and then we had that topside madness again. It feels part and parcel of this game, but it's another game where Light Side are the ones making better aggressive moves, and when Chaos tried to punish Nicolex, the team is just so much faster to come and defend him.
Yeah, it does feel like that. Like the chase now with the pillar, you can see how long Chaos is CC'd for in terms of the support and jungle, and here comes the collapse. The Rakan ult keeps in the place, the execute pullback on the Q from the Aurora doesn't quite kill the Z on Shackle. But it is very close. And I'm getting concerned because I don't think anyone can really match the Yorick in side lane here. Ryze will get caged up and have a really horrible time. And Poppy definitely can't as the tank. So with the accelerated Yorick, I feel like Chaos are going to have a really big lose condition on their hands in terms of the side lane. Those tier 2 towers are potentially going to go down in the next 15 minutes.
And something we've seen a little bit, particularly because we've seen LPL stars, probably the place where you see it a bit more. We've seen Trundles with grubs walk out of the jungle and then attack turrets.
Hey, it's such a good win con.
Sean over in the LPL got 40% damage to turret for his team on a Trundle jungle. Like, you can just do that. Once you get the Trinity Force complete, Trundle and Yorick turn into a turret, it's gonna go. They've got 3 grubs.
It is I love that call out. It's a really great call to just send a Trundle to one of the side lanes and overload a side lane with a Trundle because you just take the entire turret as a jungler, which is ridiculous. So 3 grubs here, definitely going to be a tool that they can leverage. They could even potentially, on the side of LLS, cross-map this next dragon that's upcoming. An LPL team would definitely consider doing this to take that top lane tower and 5 plates as they gang top lane. I think you said it was JDG, right, with Shun. This is definitely a play that I've seen teams like JDG do, where they just go top and abandon one of the early dragons to get a massive gold lead. And Shackle, as well as Sniller and Vayu, look like they want to punish Donpong.
Nice crash down. Can't get the shove in the wall.
The ground
is there to prevent that one. Gets the battle dance away. It's got a quickness running. Gets out safely. That turret's going through. Right out to the backside. Flushes away from the quickness. Donpong just about alive. They can't kill Rakan.
Rakan just so slippery, and they don't have the damage because the Poppy stun against the wall doesn't quite land. So many spells burnt as well. The Kaiser ultimate as well as everything else. This isn't good. Now LLS can walk in without threat of being casted upon by most spells, including the Magnet Storm. However, it does look like Golden Penny wants a reset.
It's scuffed. Oh my days, so much damage. Finally gets the face, but scuffed.
Wait, look at bot lane.
Low. They're going to find the Magnet Storm all the way right in bot lane. The picture-in-picture flashed away from the Poppy, but look into the mid lane. We've got to talk about that one for now as Nicolex is in danger.
Oh my words!
Shackle's gone forwards, but he's back into the between worlds, and Nicolex with the subjugate brings down the Shadow Assassin Rhea. Will put down the barrier, but it's immediately shattered, pierced by Aurora, as Lightside find a fight in multiple locations at what they can do no wrong this series.
Absolute clobbering right here with that Between Worlds doing so much damage with that AoE onto 3 members, as well as Vayu losing the 1v1 down in bot side in the picture-in-picture that we saw. Sniller tries to find an engage, right, but the feather pullback makes him a prime target for this Between Worlds, which just so much damage. Bizguard putting on a clinic with all that AoE. And again, it feels like another role for LLS.
It really does. It really, really does. 3 games in a row, 3 different comps, 3 different playstyles, theoretically. It's changed nothing. Lightside are ahead in the early game. Nicolex on this Trundle. Been playing since 2016. Was supposed to be the coach. We keep bringing it back up because it matters. Because he's now 4-1-3 on this Trundle. Had a really good start towards that knock.
I say retire as a coach, become a player, man. You're popping up.
Back.
You're popping off. You're making more than a statement on your little pro debut. I respect it so much. This Trundle gameplay is great as a dive comes into Bizguard.
Gonna try and pick him up, but there's a quickness and a grand entrance. Stompunk, another one of the subs coming on in.
Oh, the execute! No, what the shackle!
Upwards. Oh my days, they get Bizguard. All the while, scuffed low. Remember, doesn't have the flash. Nearly gets knocked up by the grand entrance. Bizguard continue to hunt for more damage. Continue to get those autos off. The spirit of duration getting so much damage. Magnet Storm back. They get the rune prison, but a flash on forwards as Bizguard unleashes that magical shotgun. The winning comes on forwards, and they kill 3, all the while Vayu trapped within the dark procession. The ghouls keep hunting, and Vayu, it's looking like Halloween out here. A horror story for the Poppy as she has to abandon that turret. I would have flashed too, but
Samson,
alas, I think Lightside happy to pick up the turret.
He was considering it. He was looking for an flash E potentially with that smelling salts onto the Poppy to get those chasing. But how did this happen once again? Did Golden Penny die? I missed this completely. I'm gonna be honest. Did a feather pullback kill? It looks like it did. Oh, Kraken Slayer. That final proc right there as mid lane, it doesn't stop.
Nicolex gets run out, puts the pillar down, just do a bit of bonking. Shackle's coming on over, will be able to shadow forwards with the Deathmark. I think Nicolex is probably a very dead Trundle here, gets a bit of healing back, and there is the Deathmark. Shutdown goes to Rhea, second kill to them. Maybe a win condition for Chaos now. Kaiser, 2 big kills.
Yeah, overextension onto mid lane with Nicolex, and that... I think he heard the broadcast and got baited by you, Sam. He looked for that mid lane turret with the Triforce and the 3 grubs, and I think he overextended a bit. But yeah, dying in mid lane, trying to take that tower, getting punished. I think this is exactly what Chaos need, right? Finding these picks, you really want to be ahead on this Zed to have a positive impact, because all you offer is really damage. And if you don't offer that, well, then it's problematic, isn't it? Mid lane, looking for another engage, I think, is Sniller.
He spotted out his Shackle. Can look maybe for something. Donpong body blocking him. Maybe Shackle without the Death Mark, not all that threat. He's gone for the Cyclo Sword. Used to be a regular build on the Zed, but we don't see it as much anymore, just in general. Energized synergies kind of not really being a thing we see too much in pro play at the minute, but all the while, gonna sit on this Raptors. Golden Penny, I think, might want to come and contest this a little bit. We'll nab away a couple of those smaller Raptors. He's got a blast gun. So Shackle should be okay. I saw Samson in the river. I was a bit worried too.
Yeah.
Because he's left, that is now mid lane turret.
That is down a mid lane turret now. It's on such low HP, they're going to be able to pick that up really, really easily, catch the next wave, and then maintain control around that Rift Herald. You're going to run straight there, and I think that should be free. With Zed down in bot side, Shackle's not going to be able to have any impact. Samsung's going to head down in bot side. He has TP to TP to a Rift Herald fight if he ever needs to, but can he 1v2? This is the moment, Samsung.
He's got his Maiden with him. He's doing quite a lot of damage. Shackle does have the ult, so Deathmark available. Going to look for it. Shadows over the wall. Does some damage back. Last rights come on down. Does flash out to safety, and the Maiden is still doing a lot of damage onto Shackle. Hit by the ghouls as well. I think he wins that 1v2 right now.
Yeah, a little bit scared, a little bit antsy, not wanting to throw the game on the other side of the map on the weak side. Samsung, he's getting collapsed on now, though without the flash by Sniller. Shackle's there with his ultimate too.
Ooh, last rights comes on down. They're going to try and buy some time. I think that's a value too.
Look at the minions! The minions get it!
The ghouls, they're going to find the killer instinct in it. Is utter chaos. It should finally bring down this Yorick. It goes over to the Zed, but all the while, a 1-for-1 in a 1v4. Herald mid, light side come out very much on top regardless.
Samson and his ghouls coming out 1 versus 4 in a 1, getting 1-for-1 in a 1 versus 4 rather. Managed to find the play, but that's a mid lane tower. Now they're going to drift all the way to top side and not get smited on the Rift Herald. It's a charge, and they have 3 grubs. This could be a tier 2 as well. It's gone.
Nicolex starts yelling about family. The Fast and Furious comes to life, and they'll pick up a kill on Terrell as well. They're going to get Raya getting a tier 1 finally on the other side, but that's it. It really is the one lone objective bounty there. The gold lead is exploding up to 8,000 off gold. Light side having barely won a series all year.
Oh my word.
On the verge of beating this one. Oh, Shackle, you can't walk there. Gets chopped. We'll throw down the death mark, but the only person marked for death is himself.
Initialize. Now, I have to avert your eyes. Sorry, rather, bring your attention to the items in mid lane. I just want you to look at both mid lane items. Something must have happened. Something must have happened. Did he sell his blasting one by mistake? There is no way that you were on Catalyst at 17 minutes when most people complete Roa a few minutes ago.
Production? Did anyone spot us?
Did someone sell? This is the most delayed Roa I think I have ever seen. Is this a UI bug? It must be. There is...
I have no idea.
Shot.
Vayu is so in trouble, by the way. More ghouls. He can't kill them all. He's used his hammer shock. Another morning mist. He's slowed again. The pillar's there. And he'll try and get a little bit of a heal from the Sundered Sky. It means nothing.
It's domination. It's not even close. It's 2 items for everyone on the side of LLS.
Okay, he was sitting on about 2,500 gold in his game, by the way.
Because that looked really weird on my screen right there.
He just had him backed for a long time.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. But because of that, because he hadn't backed on that Catalyst for so long, that's an incredibly delayed Rod of Ages. And once that's fully stacked, I think the game might even just be over.
Samson is low here. Raya's still pretty scary. Oh my days, that last right healing. Raya's now in danger. The ghouls keep hunting for him. Gets to get the locket. Shield stays left, but now Shackle's come across, and I don't think this Zed is much of an assassin in the age of trolls. You're supposed to take down mortal man, not the king of the beasts under the bridge. Throws down the shadow to try and run away, but there's just nowhere to go. Lightside bonk him over the head. What do you do at this game as Chaos? Again, Lightside have won a single series all damn year. They lost to Chaos last split, and somehow Chaos about to get 0-3'd.
They lost to Chaos last split, and what I'm hearing was an incredibly messy series, but this is anything but. This is a complete roll from LLS. Every dragon, every single objective. And honestly, in terms of objectives, it's a perfect game. I mean, of course, they dropped 6 kills, and it's always going to be messy with LLS, but a really dominating fashion that they've come out here with.
And look, Lightside, we've been very down on them, very dismissive of them. I had the pleasure of doing a little bit of a co-stream with Yaka, who's one of their kind of like major backroom staff, and they were saying, look, we wanted to try and build something within the region. We were doing really well, and then it just like the team didn't work out this split, and they've made massive shifts, risky shifts. Again, this series doesn't work out. It's relegations. But they've switched in top laner for the series. Last week they switched in their coach in jungle, they switched Don Ponk in support, and it's worked. They rolled the dice, they gambled, and it's paid off, and credit to them. On the other side, Chaos, it's not good. The only win they've got in this split was against Ruddy, who, as we've chatted about before, it's not been an easy time. Maybe a pick here onto Golden Penny, though. Goes up into the sky. I think he is just dead. Gets a fair amount of damage on the Ray before he goes down. The problem is Samson's on the inhibitor turret.
Can Chaos secure this Atacon off of the back of this? Poppy's going to go defend. I don't think you want this, Vayu. I think if that E lands, Vayu would die there. So Poppy ult's the only way to go about it, as look at the bot lane fight. LLS, they're going to long chase this.
Shackle's just gone, and they're buying time, because basically it's just giving Samson more time to be advanced. He's going mid. He's going to go take the other inhibitor. Scuff needs to run away.
Don't think he's going to get out of here. No Rise ulti to maybe look for some kind of escape versus no CC. And
no.
Scuff's, he's gone.
It's Scuff by name, Scuff by nature, and now you've lost your mid laner. Shackle got chunked out to no HP, had to reset, and Samson drags the Eye of Sauron away from the Atacon, and you know where Lightside are right now? On Atacon.
It's rough. Your only Fed member in Riot with this 2-item spike, trying to make a play, utilizing the double globals of the Rise and Kai'Sa, and it just isn't enough. You find a singular pick and can't convert it into too much else, at the very least securing a kill onto Golden Penny, but at the cost of top lane tower, a threat on into the inhib, as well as Atacon.
Ooh. Nice. The Shadowing Strike Flash does get that kill. You'll find what you can, Gray. Drops turret aggro. They'll get the turret bounty here at least. That is big, but is it big enough? They're still down 10,000 gold. They just lost the Atacon, and Lightside want to punish the temerity. How dare you look at our AD carry this way? Shackle going to get over the wall, but just gets chopped. That's his head taken off. Sniller now in danger. Samson on the other side of the 1v2. The Dark Procession comes on down, and Vayu needs to run very far away. Sniller, well, I don't think he's smiling very much anymore. Nicolex goes on the rampage. Another chomp, another dead enemy member.
The 1 versus 2 down in bot side, as well as the rest of the fight with those chomps, is just absolutely mental too. As Initialize, I'm running out of analysis.
You really try to say, oh my god, it's huge. They get this kill for onto.
I feel like I've said that about 20 times.
Yeah, and then it's just not mattering.
It's an accelerated Kai'Sa, and a really interesting stat. I told you this earlier on pre-show, is that Kai'Sa might be one of the most slept-on champions in the game right now, right? Globally has a 77% win rate in major regions, 90+% win rate in the LPL because of these Kraken Slayer buffs. I mean, you put all your eggs in the Zed basket like we said before, but in reality, the Fed member is Raya. So, how well can you play with Raya to these side lanes with the global? How well can he glide on the enemies? That's really the question here, and it's the main win con at this 4th dragon, which is spawning in 30 seconds.
Yeah, you've got to find something there. I don't think it's going to matter, though, because Sniller's dead. And the problem is, right, like, what platform do you have to work off? He needs to not just glide, he needs to astro glide. And the problem is he is trapped very much down to earth here as Chaos. It's just not been very easy. Every member on Lightside is terrifying right now. You've got 10 stacks on Bizguard again. On this Dark Seal, he's been having that pretty much every game. That Syndra performance back in game 1 made him very scary. Shackle now in danger as he gets absolutely eviscerated. Golden Penny picks up the kill, but it's Bizguard who does the majority of the damage. One final inhibitor turret remaining. Dompunk gets knocked into the wall, will go down, that's something. But Raya picking up a kill on the Rakan makes it, I guess, a 1-for-1. I don't know whether it saves your turret here. Maybe just about, actually.
And I don't know if it saves you from losing Ocean Soul, as Samson gets run down here.
Can they get the crash down? They'll have the Rune Prism after. This would be big. Can Raya get another? He can. That's big. All the while, Bizguard going to get the inhibitor turret, but that might stop Soul. They do get 2 big picks there, and they both go to Kai'Sa. Sniller now in danger, though. Needs to not face check too aggressively. Nicolex going to find that kill knocked away, but not Golden Penny, who begins to continue firing with those feathers. And Vayu needs to be a little bit wary. Rooted in place. Raya going to supercharge it forward, looking for some damage, but can't find that much value because the problem is Kai'Sa now caught on the wrong side of the pillar, chomping and bonking. Nicolex strikes him for a home run. Don't let him play baseball. I think he might be a little bit busted. On towards the Dragon we go. It felt like Chaos might have found an angle, but only for about 10 seconds or so.
Chaos, they still want to contest. They're coming here. Scuffed is on the way with his root, but I think the Dragon's gone.
It is. And now the problem is afterwards, he's got a flame for the Ocean Soul. Another Pelleria now in danger. He's got a flash. No, he doesn't. He's going to get buried. He goes down. Nicolex, unstoppable. 9-2-9. Coach by name, player by nature. Gonna keep running. He's got a frozen debate in the smite. Scuffed gets jarred by the quickness. They ain't done. They're TPing behind. I think it's over, Aragon.
I think it is. I think they're going to march down in onto the Nexus of Chaos and take the 2 towers, followed by the Nexus, and avoid relegations this time around. LLS put on a masterclass this series in a messy way, but they pull it off nonetheless.
They managed to find a grand total of something like 8 wins the whole year. 8 games before
And 3 of them were today.
3 of them all come in today, and they will finally win the series. It's 3-0. Lightside avoid relegations and Chaos shell-shocked.
What a crazy performance. 3-0ing a team that I believe in the previous series you lost. What a absolutely astronomical performance. I'm really impressed with how LLS pulled that off, how they came together and played as a team, but also individually.
Look, they had 8 game wins before today. They got a single series win, last split. That was it. And then they lost to Chaos 3-2. Today they come in, they 3-0, they move another step in playoffs. They avoid relegations for now. It's not a done deal, but so much credit to Lightside because honestly, I was here expecting this to be the last we saw of them potentially. They proved me wrong, and I couldn't be happier to say that.
Yeah, I gotta completely agree. I think a really, really ridiculous way to end, and it's purely Lightside. I think bringing in, and I want to shout out Samson, actually, coming into a brand new team and finding angles to 1v2, playing the game out so well, 1 versus 4, going 1 for 1, and playing the Yorick into potential counter matchups, I think was just giga impressive. So shout out to him, go to top lane and bring him in. Also, a buffet of crazy picks in the top lane, so well played.
And there you go, there's the confirmation with this win. Lightside avoid relegations. Congratulations to them. What incredible style to do it in. Aragon, last words before the desk take it from here?
Good luck again. I mean, I've said good luck in every single throw. Good luck, guys. What a ridiculous game.
Desk, take it from here, boys. And girls, of course. George is there too.
It's the boys!
Okay.
The
I'm part
boys.
of the boys, so it's fine. Yeah.
They forgot, but I agree 100%. Lightside, I initialized, and I don't know if the desk agrees. I thought Lightside were going to be taken over. I thought they were going to be sent into relegations. I don't know what happened. Maybe the subs coming in completely changing the ordeal of the team. And just as Initialize was talking about, at this moment, Lightside are out of the relegations situation. And now it's up to the next game. BDG versus DMG. If DMG wins, Chaos is in trouble. If not, it's DMG that is going to be sent into relegation. So next series is going to be high value for those teams. But let's talk about this one to begin with. Another sweep.
First of all, can I just apologize
Yeah,
first
go ahead.
for saying that Chaos was going to 3 all this. On paper, Chaos had shown great qualities, particularly in the fist fighting department. And I feel like LLS showing up with such a particular playstyle that just we haven't seen in League of Legends for a very long time succeed, which is straight up early game aggression, non-stop fighting, but they also never took their eyes off the prize, which was those side lanes. Samson, fantastic pressure with whatever his team was generating around the map. So yeah, congratulations to them for avoiding relegation. Can't wait to see them again in the next best of.
300% Yamada. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think just looking at that PGB just for a moment, I think it's just hilarious that Nicolex, almost all of his damage was on killing a champion that game. Like, the bar was almost full. But I think that also speaks to, again, like the level of aggression that he's brought to this lineup as well. Since he's been in, even in week 2 when they, still weren't winning in the seeding stage, he has just kind of enabled Lightside so well from top to bottom. And yes, also the substitutions today that were made have also clearly been in the right direction. Because I think many of us were kind of just expecting, well, I don't necessarily know if, a straight up rollover here from Lightside, but certainly for the series to be competitive, but this was anything but.
Yeah, I do believe it was still a bloodshed and a lot of chaos within the game.
Yup.
But LLS thrived in the chaos. So, whether you like it or not, they were comfortable on that sort of chaos. Nicolex, just as you stated, he was comfortable. He was part of every fight, and he was like, "Hey, don't worry, I got you. I'm a trundle, but I have a pillar."
Oh my god. I love the zoom in. Thank you so much, observers. I love the zoom in right here of Golden Ben being so damn greedy to get that last hit onto Ryan, right? And then Vayu being so close but so far, getting baited by the barrier. That was a really, really funny fight. But in the end, it was still LLS coming out on top. The shutdown, sure, and then Dog almost ends up going down. But not quite the case.
So much in this game, and it's always about micro. Macro is a different place for these teams. I think Bisgard also needs to be highlighted today. I don't know if with Nicolex he was extremely comfortable today, and with the rest of the players joining in. But I think mid lane was completely dominated in favor of Bisgard.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and this feels a lot more like the Bisgard that I feel like was kind of promised from his spring performance and his time on DMG in general. So it's great to actually see him have a series where he actually gets to step up and be a main man, kind of throughout, right? Whether he was either enabling Nicolex throughout a lot of the game, you think about the Orianna pick up with that Nocturne, or even in this game where he's kind of just a silent beneficiary of a lot of plays, and then he is ensuring that the I's are getting dotted and the T's are getting crossed.
Not a lot to say at the end of the day as LLS takes the 3-0 versus Chaos. Chaos unfortunately couldn't do anything at all. We can just wrap it up, regardless of how you see it, regardless of the team fight started. Tell me.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Obviously.
Has anyone noticed how long this replay is? Because that's how long this fight lasted. It started with Yorick dying. Yorick has respawned and he's TPing into base to end the game.
He's back.
Like, when we talk about fist fighting, we're talking about fist fighting non-stop to the point where champions have their chance to come back alive, TP into the fights, and end the game.
And that's late game. That's not even early game. That's level 13 respawning, so it takes a while. You can send your kids to college, see them graduate, and then it's still team fight for LLS. I don't know, but they still got it. 3-0. And the player of the cities. Oh. Samson, Nicolex. Yeah, I agree. One of these three. Where do you land, Desk?
One of these three isn't like the other. As much as I feel like Samson obviously had a very, very fantastic opening here on this light side lineup, and Bisgard had a great series too, Nicolex ran the jungle for 3 games straight.
Yeah.
With no contest. Shakal just straight up got diff today, so I know where my vote would be going if I was putting a ballot in, and it would definitely be going to Nicolex.
Yeah, I'm with Jamada right here. I think Nicolex, apart from like the whole dominating aspect of the jungle, I feel like he was a main moving gear for the team, and he was leading a lot of those skirmishes that led into LLS getting ahead in those early games.
There you go. So head on to Twitter and vote on the player of the cities for you. We gave our ideas, but it's up to you. But also, let's talk to LLS to understand how they won, how they're moving forward, and the changes on the roster itself. Bring him up, because I know it's the coach. Jovian, welcome. Hey, how are you feeling like heartbeat? How fast is it?
It's not very fast, everything's fine, all calculated, according to plan. No roster changes last minute, everything's fine. Oh, no heartbeat.
That's it. That's where we going. Samson, Don Punk, what happened? Where did you find them? And man, it looked good.
Yeah, I mean, it was very apparent after the first week and the second week, having Jovian on support is not best conditions usually. Something has gone terribly wrong for this to happen. We needed some changes, thankfully, and big shout out to Howl Esports from Greece. They just promoted to first division, so congrats on that. They did give us both the players, Nicolex and Samson, without any trouble, I'm gonna say. These guys, all 3 of them, they were options in the beginning when we were like building the roster, but for different reasons, I'm gonna say. We didn't choose to go with them in the beginning, but then we just did like a full 180 and decided that that's the best way forward, and I think it showed up today, so that's good.
Okay, I do believe Trouble wants to make a question. I don't know if we can bring Trouble on site. Trouble!
I'm not sure if I
Yeah,
can
this is a
hear
rough one.
Trouble.
She wants to join in. You hear Trouble?
No, I don't.
Hello?
Okay, okay.
No,
they'll
I
do it.
can't.
They'll
No, I
do it.
can't.
If
Nice.
oh, there you go. Join in, Trouble. I'll mimic.
Perfect. Okay. Καλησπέρα και από μένα. Συγχαρητήρια.
Καλησπέρα. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about Nicolex because you have a long player background and he does too. Primarily, yours is half coach, half mid laner, right? But it runs very long. And Nicolex
Yeah.
as well. What do you think changed by Nicolex joining in? Because it seems like the team is more aggro and more decisive when it comes to those plays early.
I mean, the list of things that Nicolex brings to a team cannot be named within like the entirety of this stream, I'm gonna say. He's amazing at what he does. He devotes his life to it, and that's great. Like, you can see the results. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. You don't need anything else.
I agree. Tell me something. Relegation, you're saved. Good. But now you face another objective in front of you. BDG. Hey, spring split, winter split, they were looking good. What do you feel about now?
This is summer split, so who cares about spring split and winter split? Like, I almost beat him. I killed Kasing on bot lane. Like, we're just gonna win. We're just gonna win, guys.
Touche.
Who cares about
So if you
previous
could
split?
give me prediction, what would be your prediction? Like a wild thought, yeah.
I'm just gonna wing it now. It's gonna be 3-1 for us. We win those.
Wow, okay, confidence. The lower bracket run. Hey, congratulations, Jovian. It was a hard one. I know the beginning was not what you wanted, but it's about the end, not the beginning. Congratulations on that one.
Thank
I'll
you
see
very
soon,
much,
big boss.
and hopefully see you again.
Oh, I like it. Well, 3-1 on BDG. Okay, calm down. We just got one. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, let's bring in the bracket so you understand where we are, where we're going, and the past,
Where we
present,
came
and
from.
the future. LLS versus BDG is going to be played right after the LR North Rich Gang Verdant, the upper bracket. We jump into the lower bracket as well. But the first match after today will be that one, the 6th of August, DMG versus Ruddy. And this one is going to decide who's going to be sent to relegation. Desk, I'm gonna make that hard question. DMG are ready.
Oh, DMG, come on now. Like, if let's be reasonable. Let's be reasonable. I think DMG have still looked quite bright despite a lot of the results. Whereas, again, once the timer goes past 10 minutes for Ruddy, they then remember who's piloting the champions. And then things look a
They
lot more...
turn nameplates on.
Yeah, the nameplates come back on after the first 10 minutes, and things stop looking so pretty. So, maybe just for the shithousery of it, this is where Ruddy get like one individual game.
Wow.
Otherwise, I feel like DMG are probably just going to walk through this series relatively comfortably.
You know, you have inside information because you played with the jungler. I saw you playing with the jungle 2 games, leaving afterwards and laughing while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Trouble.
Go on, Jamada.
No, look, I've known Jake for
Another
a long time.
nail.
Before he even really had, Ruddy as the brand and whatnot. This brother stinks, like, 80% of the time. Like, it just is what it is. Fair play to him on the competitive stage, he's shown up for the first 10
Hey, he
minutes
did
of
have a
every game.
sick Mundo game. Come on, man.
The Mundo game was also great too. So, first 10 minutes of every game, fantastic. But again, he then remembers that maybe he actually is a little bit too far away from Canyon and that he's in the NLC. And the other people around him are actually slightly closer to Canyon than he is. And then a Canyon occurs after that.
All right. I want to say, seeing how Every result has been pretty clear so far. Banter 2-0 and a 3-0. I think tomorrow is not tomorrow, sorry, the 6th of August is going to be a 3-0 as well. I believe in DMG.
Okay, so DMG is up for debate after this one, which means Chaos will be sent into relegation. But in order to see that
Radical 3-0.
one,
Classic.
oh boy, watch
Seeing
Chaos
how predictions
happen.
went today. Yeah.
Yeah, watch it all happen once again. I don't know. With that in mind, I want you to watch Leagues Disrupt at the end of the month as we jump into Stockholm, August 30th. You can join us for a single day of happiness, hypiness, and craziness on stage with an event made for you. I mean, we're just gamers. We just want to watch like cool lights, big explosions, and people just complaining that it's ping when it's not related to ping. So it's up to you to buy that ticket, use that QR code, and join us. There's a lot of artists joining the venue. I know one is there independently. I don't know why.
Rock is gonna be there too.
Rock is gonna be. Hey, you know what? You know what, Trouble? You should actually sing it on stage. Shut up, Disrupt.
Maybe I will.
We duo.
Maybe I will.
Jamad, you can play the guitar. There's no guitar. Actually, there's 5 guitars on that music, but doesn't matter. You play the guitar.
Rockaroon and Rocking.
Rocking, and then we have Jamada. That's it.
I'm ready.
Rockada.
Yes, the
Go.
Fender, Stratocaster.
Yeah, of
The
course.
good old.
Classic, you know?
Yeah,
You
the
can't go
classic.
wrong with a Stratocaster.
I love it. I'm a Gibson man myself, but I love that one. Hey, we're not talking about music. We have a music for you. But next time it's going to be played, it's going to be by Trouble. By the way, yeah, she's going to sing this one. With that in mind, I'll see you next week. We love you very much. And until we meet again, keep climbing. Now shut up, Disrupt!
In the north, where the ping is low and the egos are high, there is only one rule, baby. Shut up, this round. Shut up, this round. Shut up, this round. Shut up, this round. Ooh. Ha ha ha. We back at the dream in a dodgy old strap. Got chaos in my trunk and a rat in my hat. The GPS in danger, but I proxy like a chef. It's bossy time, baby. That's a good death. Got chased by bulldogs, no bark, no bite. Told to touch some grass, but that's unveiled inside. Could have gone but I followed my feeling. Guess what, baby? We're in Sweden. More than just some players, it's the retired legion. Say just a game, but it's more than a feeling. We're breaking the silence, volume increase. Shut up, shut up, shut up. It's time for Leagues Disrupt. We fight through the pain, cause we call that a healing. From Solo Q to the northern region. They fight for the glory, the thrill, so just shut up, shut up, shut up. It's time for Leagues Disrupt. Ooh. Wait, you're not convinced yet? Okay, let me tell you why you need that ticket. Double time. Reddy's got a plan, but it's looking kinda sus. I'm toxic like sins, like ping as I run. We're from the north with the dodge fights. You might say our draft is weird. Hey, we won EMEA twice. Los ratones quick sneak on the run on the heights. We got cronies cooking with those snipes, super size. Belly be lurking in jungle, so sick you might think it's the other game when he shows that puppy pick. Back in the north, so storm in July. Young cuz gets first blood, blink once and you die. Bring legends back, shares like a Marvel arc. Visit such a split, pushing and we call that art. I'm spitting like ass, got skill in my shots, critiquing harder than Jinx when she pops. So it says the IDLs are on a decline. Esports news only get views with us as a headline. More than just some players, it's the retired legion. Say just a game.